Hello, everyone. It's Annette. This is In the Know 360, bringing you unfiltered stories, game, and exclusive drops from the next wave of stars. And now you're locked into In the Know 360, where real conversations meet raw talent. Let's go. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to In the Know 360, show hosted by me, Annette, the warm-hearted warrior diva. This show gives you insights on the journeys of high-achieving business owners and music artists who share with the audience the importance of building a strong community of like-minded individuals on the road to greater success. And this evening, I have an honor and pleasure of welcoming Mr. Tuwan Spencer. Thank you so much for
Hey,
joining me, sir.
hey everybody. Hey, thanks for having me.
Well, it looks like we have some folks um, in the building. What's up, Miss Kia? We have the glue. Thank you for joining us this evening. There's some other folks coming on Instagram land. We're live on YouTube and Facebook as well. Well, with that being said, I'm going to hand the mic over to you, Mr. Spencer, so you can tell the audience who you are, what you do, and all these wonderful things that I've researched.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Tuwan Spencer, aka Mr. LIONH3ARTED, Mr. Ohio. Listen, I do a lot of different things through my LIONH3ARTED brand. LIONH3ARTED is about social and emotional regulation, resiliency building, just everything about developing character. We do that for youth, adults, communities, and business professionals. What that looks like is keynotes, workshops, different books. It could be live engagement. I use music as an avenue as well. Um, and yeah, so I'm just out here in the community trying to help wherever I can. Um, I do a lot of stuff because it's just my capacity. But at the end of the day, I'm just a young man trying to live out his wildest dreams. I tell people all the time, I do everything that I thought about when I was a little boy. And if you live a rich life like that, all the other riches they just come. So yeah, man, I'm just living my dream. That's it.
He's very modest, everyone. I mean, his biography, goodness gracious, it just goes on and on and on. Uh, okay, well, we're going to dive right into the question, sir.
Do it.
Well, let's go ahead and do this. Being light and hearted, right, suggests fierce courage in the face of pain. Can you
Mm.
take us to a moment when life tried to break you and what rose up in you instead?
Um, mm, that was a really good question. Um, can I be honest though with my
Sure.
response? Okay, so um, I hate to be the guy that does that or does this, but as a black man, you kind of get taught that life is a certain type of way. I don't use that as an excuse. At the end of the day, we all get played our hands, get our cards, and we play our hand the way we need to. Um, I think one of the biggest moments for me though was learning how to see past that. Um, because trauma riddled minds make trauma riddled decisions. They make traumatic remarks. They have traumatic thoughts. And so that's something that I would say maybe within the span of maybe a couple of years, I've learned how to be able to see past what's actually in front of me, and tap into what's inside of me. So yeah, I guess if for transparency, that's I know that's a roundabout way of answering the question, but that's kind of what I got for you. Because that's the truth. It's I'm not really focused on anything that can't be, but sometimes I'm surprised at how I viewed the world. Um, because for sure, once my mind started shifting, a lot of things started changing in my experience.
Mm. At what age did your mind start shifting?
So it was like little droplets, like
Okay.
it was like little pieces of, So I don't make it a secret. As a youth in my teens, being born in Buffalo, New York. I was out in New York going through different things, multiple arrests, fighting, gang affiliated, rolling 60s Crips was my choice. Um, and so there was a certain mentality and things. But even when I would do stuff in that space, right, I would always be like, yo, why are we doing this? Or is it another way that we, and not even just like, let's go be criminals in a different type of way, but can't we make money a different type of way? And not just letting the thoughts stop there, but really going deep. Like, nah, I want to know how I do this. How do I? I've always had that inquisitive, go the extra mile mind. As I've gotten older, lived a little bit more life, there's been a shift. I would probably say within the past 2 years, and to be honest, it came from adversity, right? Divorce, custody battles, family members passing away, lost my father. Just it was a lot of stuff that sucked. It was a lot
Right.
of stuff that sucked, and I had to make a decision. Either I was going to be a victim to it, or I was going to be Lionhearted, and that's what I chose to be,
Mm,
and thus came Lionhearted.
mm. Thank you for that answer, and my condolences to you and your family.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, well, how do you tailor the message of resilience for, say, for instance, a 15-year-old finding their voice as a 40-year-old trying not to lose theirs?
That is a wonderful question. How do you tailor resilience for a 15-year-old finding their voice and a 40-year-old trying not to lose theirs? So I think the first thing with resilience for me, this has always been a part of my process. And when I talk to people, I try to remind them of this. There's no story worth watching that doesn't have some ooh that sucked moment. Imagine watching a movie where nothing happened. There was no bad guy. There wasn't anything. You would not watch that movie long. There's no plot. There's nothing happening. I tell people to kind of treat your life like a movie or like a book. You in a chapter. You don't have to close it, but you're in a chapter. So for the 15-year-old that's trying to find his way, find her way, they navigate in life and they trying to figure things out. My conversation with them is more about patience with themselves than anything else, right?
Mm,
And it kind of transfers over to anybody that's older that I might talk to as well, because you find somebody either anxious because they don't know what to do, or you find somebody anxious because they feel like they haven't did the right things. So I like to remind people that anxiety is energy with nowhere to go.
mm,
So this is there's those it's two things that I remind people of. Anxiety is energy with nowhere to go, and your brain, stop looking at it as a barometer for what's right and wrong, and treat it like a computer that has just stored life events and gives you suggestions based off of life events. It's almost like using Chat GPT, right? Whatever you put in Chat GPT, if you put in character things, I like to do this, I go here, I graduated from here, the answers that it gives you will be tailored to the responses and the information that you fed it. Likewise, your brain does something similar. So you go through adversity, you struggle financially, relationships are shattered. You go through these things. So you process life, relationship, and finances from the lens of somebody who's been through something. So it's almost this weird thing of knowing sometimes you can't even trust the way that you think. So I always
mm,
ask myself, why? For every emotion, for every thought, why are you thinking that? It got to go through the why test. If it doesn't pass the why test to where it's safe to move in that space, I don't do it no more.
mm. Would you consider divine intervention as an outlier to the Y test?
Divine it. So, I believe in God. Um, and I don't think nothing happens by accident. But I've dealt with a lot of individuals who maybe they share a different faith.
Mm,
Maybe they don't believe in one at all. So whenever we have these conversations, it's always tricky because I'm gonna say something and they're gonna be like, "Oh, well, I don't believe in that, so that don't apply to me." But I kind of look at it like you honestly feel like you just around here flailing in life, like stuff is just randomly happening. Like you don't think that there are experiences that shape you and cultivate you to do the things that you are destined to do. Before I started dealing with youth, I mentioned it earlier. I was in and out of jail. I had gang affiliations. I was constantly arrested. I was 17 years old and Wendy Correctional Facility. So I'm 17 years old in jail. And to frame that for people, I always get them to look at it like this. There's 4 levels. You got holding cell when you get arrested. You got young man's block for people under 17. You got jail and you got prison. Okay. I was 17 years old in jail for fighting. I wasn't even supposed to be there for that. But I got out a little bit before, I'm trying to remember the exact, before my birthday, my 18th birthday. So all of those experiences when I'm in there and I'm having somebody tell me what to do, how to live, how to be, how to eat. I'm looking at, I thought I was bad. Now I'm looking at people that's actually bad. No, they really about that life. They don't have no intentions of being anything else. This is what they want to do. And I'm realizing this ain't what I want to do. I want to do something different. I don't want to, but I'm watching this moment, and all of these things happen only for me to get out a little bit before it would have been permanently on my record. If it's permanently on my record, I can't go into schools and do what I do. I can't walk into prisons and talk to youth, males, females about anything because now I have a violent record. Now I'm getting arrested for fighting. Now I've spent time there. So just that little bit of time that's my why though. Whenever I get too frustrated, too exhausted, I'm ready to tap out. I remember, boy, you lucky to be here. You lucky to be here. Just it was really that simple for me. If you would have just sat there for a little bit longer, you can't do any of the stuff you do. And I've worked with Brian and Stratton College. Tri-C had conversations with Cleveland Clinic. These conversations go entirely different if I have a past of with violent history. This is a whole different conversation. My life is different now. I do believe I would have did something in this space of community and of different things, but I'm grateful that stuff happened the way it did. So I believe God always had a plan, and I'm glad that there was intervention in my life because if I would have been who I was, we wouldn't even have been able to like who I used to be is so far from who's in front of you right now. So there has to be something else at play for me because if left to our own devices as human beings, most of the decisions we make will be off of habit, not off of whatever our next level could be. Take a certain type of thinking to get to that space.
Well, you are a poet. No, sorry. Well, I meant it in a good interpretation, not no pun intended.
No, you good. You love poetry. You good.
Oh my goodness. All right. When the mission starts to feel like a burden, what helps you keep showing up?
You got to kind of remember that you built for it. You know, it was crazy. I actually, before all of this stuff, before LIONH3ARTED became a name, before people started to know who Tuwan Spencer was, I was at this event. Shout out to Action. They focus on helping build nonprofits. And I was sitting there, and I'm talking to them, and there was this older lady there, and she was I don't know if she was a pastor, some type of minister, and she was talking about she had a word for me, and she kept saying that I was built for it. And she was like, you got to understand, like, that stuff that you've been through, you look at it sometimes like it's terrible. Like, oh, I can't believe this happened to me. But that qualifies you for everything that you're doing. Part of why I'm effective at going into a prison and talking to the youth about the stuff that comes with being in prison or any young man's block or anything like that or jail is because I've had experiences there. It's hard to have those conversations if you've never had them. Now, when you're going through it, oh my God, it sucks. It sucks. It's not anything you want to do. But when you have a moment where you connect with someone because you guys have shared experiences, and the beauty is you came through it, they're at the start of it. So you can genuinely redirect what happens in this moment. You have the opportunity to do that. I live for those moments. I actually was just out with Mike Mathis, and he has a youth program where he goes out and he mentors these young boys and girls. And he was kind of having man, I'm drained. I had to speak here. I had to do that. And we was in the middle of talking, and I felt led to call him back. And I was like, hey, I just left him a message like, hey, you know what? You had that moment where one of those kids was talking to you about what's really happening in their life, and they was very candid. I'm going through this. I'm hurting from that. That's your moment. That's your second win. If you don't do what you do, that kid has all of those experiences and potentially doesn't have an outlet. So whatever the program is, wherever I'm speaking at, whatever I'm involved in, I understand that if I don't sit down on that couch in Euclid, Ohio, and decide that Lionhearted is going to be a thing, every workshop, every class, every poem, every book has the potential to not exist. That means anybody
Mm,
that's impacted by your words, whether they be spoken or written, that's impacted by your presence, whether it be physical or virtual, misses out on the opportunity to experience something that could potentially change their life. So that's my thing. You keep doing it for the person that's watching you and acting like they not. So that's why I
mm,
get up every day. If I went off of just what I saw between all the drama and the extra stuff that happens, even in these fields, um, I wouldn't be doing it long. I would be tired
mm,
of my work, and that's not where I'm at.
mm.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds to me as you're speaking with the individual and you see or find an opportunity to go ahead, kind of not really a spot correction, but kind of on the spot
Mm-hmm.
connection, I guess. I just
Yep.
made that up, but on the spot connection, right? Let's
Right.
let's coin that. But
Okay.
that makes a lot of sense
Mm-hmm.
because it's ebb and flow. You don't know when the individual's going through this particular moment in time as opposed to increased risk, right? So maybe they're at a mild stage and
Yep.
then you just never know. So that's good. That's a very good hmm,
I I
feedback.
plan for I plan for interruptions, like whatever I'm doing. I make like
Mm,
legitimately make time for that. If I got a workshop and it's an hour and a half, it's 10 minutes of let's just talk. It's ten,
mm,
15 minutes of that because 9 times out of 10, somebody has had some type of connection to
mm,
whatever we're talking about. And if you stay, especially as somebody who's responsible for leading or teaching, if you stay in the flow of, I'm going to do it this way, I'm going to make it happen that way, and then you run into a learner who doesn't gravitate that way, but they're interested, you run a risk of potentially missing them. One of the educator, I believe it's in Hebrew, the translation, and I got to check, the translation is to lead from ignorance. I
mm,
don't never call myself a teacher. I've worked in all levels of education. So early childhood education. I've been a part of different school districts, Euclid, Cleveland. I've worked with Bryan and Stratton College. I've done my own businesses and my own outreach. I've been in every sphere of education imaginable, from interaction with youth to symposiums. I've done all of these great things. And the reality is this: I'm trying to lead people away from ignorance. Ignorance is not only a problem. It might be a damaged way of thinking. It might be an inability to trust other people. It might be any of these things. So what we do is create lessons that can release individuals from certain spaces. So I'm not, for me, I don't know this person to assume I'm going to have everything figured out the way that they need it. So I plan for something radical happening. And I would almost say, if you're doing it correctly, radical happens often. If you're
mm.
doing your job right, people are always coming up sharing personal things with you. You plan that for what you're doing because you know there's going to be a little boy, a little girl, there's going to be a 60-year-old woman who maybe her son's in the military and she hasn't seen him in forever. And I was talking about the importance of unity, community, family, and faith, and she just need a hug. There's
Mhm.
nowhere in my workshop and my PowerPoints that says go hug an old lady. But what I
Right.
know is in that moment, that's what that woman needs, and that's what I am. I just became what I was looking for. I
Mm.
was looking for somebody to be who I'm doing my best at being. That's it. For everybody I run into, I try. I don't always do it right, um, but I know for damn sure I try.
Mm. I second the notion the glue preach. For sure. Wow. We are having more than just an interview. It's a lifetime journey with Mr. Tuwan Spencer here. Uh, was there a moment that you realized your deepest wound could also be your greatest gift?
Um, every moment,
Mm,
every moment on greatness is on the other side of the thing that you're afraid of. It's right
mm,
on the other side of it. It's right on the other side of it. You're afraid to go speak at that event. You go speak and you have an exhilarating moment like something you've never had before. You want to motivate individuals to chase potential and man, why would somebody listen to me? But you say forget that and you go and do it. And then not only do you help somebody walk into that greatness, they become phenomenal at it. And you like, man, if I would have just kind of to the point of what I was talking about earlier, like I if you really believe in what you do, you don't have the luxury of keeping it away from other people. If you
mm,
believe that whatever it is you do is a gift, it is your responsibility to share it because you heal in that. You heal in that. And that's what the victim has to do to become the conqueror. You got to have a loud voice about the oppression. You got to be louder than that. You got to be louder than that. So you got to come in the room and be like, I'm not too afraid to do. I'm
mm,
not too away from to connect with. That's not how it works. And that's
mm,
like honestly the core opposite of what LIONH3ARTED is about. And LIONH3ARTED has a lot of different facets. So we got outreach, there's a clothing line, there's books, there's LIONH3ARTED Entertainment, there's so many different things. But the whole point behind this is to aggressively attack whatever mindset kept you away from who you actually are. It is to be brave, it is to be courageous in the face of adversity, whatever that adversity may be. Militant to the point of I deserve to be the best version of myself. So no excuses, no passes. We get out there and then we go hard.
mm. As a kid, right? I know I'm going back and forth, but as a kid,
No,
as a
you're good.
kid,
I love it.
did you used to like, for instance, I'll give you an example. When I was a
Okay.
little girl, I used to play with my two cousins, right, outdoors because we didn't have cell phones and all that. And we played school.
Okay.
And I would always say, I'm the teacher. I would never
Okay.
give up that role, right?
Okay.
And they would beg me to teach. So, did you play like school or anything of that sort growing up to get to the point where you are today? I'm just trying to
Nah,
get
man.
like an
Nah.
insight.
No, I just knew I was the most gangster, not listening, always suspended, skipping school. You know who used to call those things? My mother. My mother would always be like, and I laugh about it now. She was like, you either gonna be what did she used to say? A pastor, a teacher, or a pimp. And I was like, why the pimp? I was like, why the pimp? She was like, because your mouthpiece is good. She was like, you either go use that. And to that point, I believe that's the case with everybody. I
Mm,
believe, I believe the liar hasn't just hasn't figured out the strength in the truth yet. So he or she is still exercising behavior that feels safe. But if you can get the person who's always telling a story to heal with truth, you won't find anybody that's better at speaking that.
mm,
So I figured out what I could do through adversity, shortcomings, bad decisions for probably my entire life. I realized I had a passion for reading and writing because for probably 3 summers straight, I was on punishment. I was acting up all school year. And my
good.
mother, we stayed off of right over in the hood. It was off of Harvard, 148th. And my mom had an attic full of books. It was an
Mm,
attic crawl space full of books, easily 500 some odd books. All 3 of these summers, all I did was read. Not because I was some brilliant person that loved reading and words and they just jumped off of the page. None of those deep stories. The only thing my mother would allow me to do was read. That's it. You can't play the game. You can't go outside. It was a joke. My friends would call and they'd be like, oh, can we talk to Tawan? And my mom be like, you know that boy on punishment. And they'd be like, "Oh, right. Okay, all right. Maybe we'll see him when he go to the store or something like that." But it was I've always, even before I recognized I was doing it, had this knack of taking trauma, taking whatever it was that looked like it couldn't work for my good and turning it
Mm.
into something phenomenal. So to go from an attic full of books, and this is fiction, nonfiction, thesauruses, encyclopedias, dictionaries. Like I was one of those read a page out of the dictionary and walk around the house and try to use the word and not nobody knows, nobody's I'm just coming there one day and I'm like, man, that seems anomalous. My family like, what? What? But this that was the thing that cultivated everything that people experience today. So when I go talk to youth, or whether I'm talking to somebody that's trying to find their voice again, whether it's that 60-year-old or however we frame it, you've been winning your whole life.
Mhm.
If you really take the time to look at it, whoever you were, right? Like 4 or 5 years ago, you had problems 4 or 5 years ago that don't even matter today. You beat them. So if you
Mhm.
really look at your life with the right stance, with a stance that might be different from what your brain is telling you, you'll realize if you was to bet on something, it makes sense to bet on you. You have consistently beaten the odds at every turn. You just
Mm.
forgot it. You just forgot it. So for me, part of the lion-hearted mindset that I try to teach youth, professionals, whomever, is just to remember they stolen greatness. Like I'm not making you a lion. I'm just reminding you of the one that lives inside of you. I'm I'm the zookeeper dangling the zebra. You didn't know you would know what to do with it until I dropped it in there, and all of a sudden you do these things, and then you just get to have that moment with them where you see them realize that they bigger than what they thought they were smaller than. So yeah.
Mm. Wow. I feel like I've just arrived at an event. One of your events. Sorry. But okay, so while you were in the attic reading books, what book did you gravitate to, or do you remember?
The dictionary.
Okay.
It was a dictionary. It was realizing I didn't know anything. It was
Mm.
that for me. I've always been competitive, so it was like, man, I don't know many of these words. I have no idea what any of the like. I'm going through, and you got to figure we talking about A B C D E F all the way through. So I'm looking at them, and not only did I realize I needed to learn more things, I was fascinated with language. I'm like,
Mm.
man, okay, so this means that. Where does that come from? And then you go look and you see what the root word is. And where did the root word get created at? And where did they? So now you're learning about the culture, the time frame. You learn all of these other things, and your mind opens up. A dictionary was the first time I thought about wanting to go to another country. That's
Wow.
how that worked for me. It was the first time I thought about wanting to travel because I'm reading words about different things, and they'll say this object is usually located in Tulum. You a little boy growing up in Cleveland, Ohio, living off of Harvard. I don't even think at that time I used Tulum in a sentence, let alone realize it was a place, that there was people there and that there's culture and there's identity. These were thoughts that I never had because the box that I lived in, that my brain, that my trauma, that my lifestyle had created, I was comfortable with it. So that
Mm.
reading was my escape to other things. Where would I be at where I would need to use a word like this? Because this word means that. So now I'm bigger than whatever this moment is. So off top, it was the dictionary, and I had told myself a long time ago I wouldn't let some another book be one of my favorite books. I was gonna write a book, and that was gonna be my favorite book. And I was telling myself that just as a fleeting thought in that moment. Now I had always
Mm.
reserved the special spot for something that I had created. So yeah.
Wow. Okay. I can dig it. Definitely the dictionary for me too.
Mhm.
Uh,
Good. I'm
can't
glad somebody
can't go
said that
wrong.
with me. I'm
Can't go
glad
wrong
somebody
with the
said that
dictionary.
with me. I stand
You
at that
know,
party and they be like, "What? Yeah."
you know what's funny? As a kid, my mom, she would, I don't know why, but my teachers be like, "Okay, you're in the spelling bee this year." I'm like, "Why? Why?"
Mm, that's because
So
we
she
taught
would
it.
take me to these spelling bees, and I'm like, I guess I have to go. I have no choice,
Go in there and get it done.
right? So, what's one mask used to wear to survive, and like just in general, do you think that like people would have what is the terminology? I'm trying to think. Well, anyway, they wear a mask to cover up who they really are. And of course there's like different hats or different roles, right? People play.
Right.
Um what's one mask do you think people utilize to survive or like be in a survival mode?
Indifference.
Mm,
Indifference. And I mean, if you think about it, it's the safest. It's the safest way for somebody to not feel affected by something. But one of the most brilliant ways to limit productivity. Indifference has never helped anybody, not even just from an emotional standpoint. Somebody got tired of carrying stuff and was like, hey, we should make something and it should pull the stuff that we're carrying. And they came up with a cart and they just had put some stones on it before and they was like, man, this thing pull weird. And somebody was like, no, you know what? What if we made circles and pulled it with the circles? And then they was doing that. And then somebody was like, hey, why are we pulling this? Why are we using so somebody not being indifferent about how something currently was
mm,
created the evolution that we normalize in today. And such is the same with your processes in life. Your ability to not be okay with being indifferent as it relates to your education, to your purpose, to your relationships, whether they be business or personal. You taking those relationships seriously, having a stance where you're okay with vulnerability, where it matters, right? Changes the experience in its entirety. It changes the experience in its entirety. So I think everybody's trying to look like they don't care. Everybody's trying to look unbothered, and it's the craziest thing in the world to see, um, because nobody really likes it. I
mhm,
have not had a conversation with any person, whether they were cheated on, whether their spouse died, that does not mention wanting to feel loved. But if you go
mm,
look at what's normalized in society, you would think nobody cares. Everybody's from person to person. It is what it is. They'll be all right. You see all of this emotional disconnect, um, and I've found that weed in so many different life gardens. So whether
mm.
it's community, kids, or I'm doing professional coaching, you hear this disconnect from what really matters to them. And as long as you operating in that space, you operating at a deficiency.
Mm. That is very true. Um,
Mm,
I totally agree with what you're saying, and I think that it could be again a resort to because of an emotion or trauma that had affected the person or the individual, right? So, for instance, I don't know. Can you hear me?
I can. It's breaking up a little bit.
Okay. Okay, there you go.
Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now. Okay. So, like for instance, if say, you're very nice to people and you're a
Mm,
pleaser, right?
mm,
And a person says, "Hey, I would like to meet with you at such and such time at such such date," and usually you'll be like, "Okay," right?
mm.
But then you learn to navigate. Well, hold tight. Let me look at my calendar and see if I'm available that date. But a lot of there's different personalities and characteristics of people out here that will sway you to conform to their wants, if that makes sense. And so I've learned, I'm speaking about myself, I've learned to, pause and to say, I have certain schedules or certain agreements that I have to meet prior to even agreeing to meet with you, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Anyway, I I know I'm rambling all over the place, but I guess to your point, being indifferent is not making a decision, because the decision is the not making a decision, basically, is what I'm saying. If that makes sense. Maybe I lost you. Can you hear me? I don't, it's kind of like staticky. I don't know what's going on. Uh-oh. Let's see. Okay, everyone. Well, hopefully he I think there were some technical difficulties, but if you haven't checked out or haven't followed Mr. Tuwan Spencer, I'll go ahead and put it on here. I was gonna do this later, but you could view him at tuwanspencer.org, and that's TUWANSPENCER.org. Let's see if he joins us. Okay.
You got
Okay.
me?
Yeah, I think I hear you, but it's a little staticky. Hmm.
Okay, so I'm on my
Let
Wi-Fi.
me. Oh, you're in your Wi-Fi. Um, let me see. I'm gonna take you off, and then you can log back in. Let's try that.
Okay.
Okay. So you can check him out. There's a plethora of information here on his website, and let's see. Hopefully, he'll be able to join us. But there's the home section here, and it has information about who he is. Let's see if he was able to. Okay, and then there's a bunch of information here, and then also his bio, and then his what LIONH3ARTED is about. So please also follow him on all his social platforms. And let's see, he has workshops, a consultation section. So if you haven't followed him yet, please do so. Business and mindset coaching. Let's see, it's on the top tabs. Podcast. Oh, by the way, I did tap into one of his podcasts, and I was like, wow, this is really good. I believe it was a gentleman, and he was talking about technology and a book that he's written, and it dealt with the youth and technology, and I thought that was phenomenal. And then, of course, talked about relationship and also. Okay, I was just talking great things about you and your podcast. and and I was telling the folks that I was listening into one of your podcast sessions with, I believe it was your cousin.
Okay.
I think it was the latest one, I'm not sure. But I was just showing folks where to go.
Okay.
And anywho, okay, let's get back to our schedule session questions here.
Okay.
All right. So why do you think we still treat emotional intelligence like a luxury in schools, and what's the cost of ignoring it?
The stuff that we see happening in the schools,
Hmm.
that's that's it's funny having this conversation with professionals because I worked in that environment, right? I understand the politics of it. And I think a lot of times when people talk about their frustrations with school districts and what's happening in the educational realm or what's happening with youth, they miss that part. Your educators, the people that's in those spheres, are limited in what they do and what they can do. So being an individual who understands that, but now kind of operates in a role capacity, I get to kind of call that for what it is, and that's the problem. The As long as you treat it like emotions don't matter, you'll experience relationships, um, conversations, and opportunities with individuals who operate in emotionalist or emotionless capacities. They don't know how to be empathetic because they haven't practiced it. That's the part that has always kind of been fascinating to me when individuals talk about somebody lacking something. I'll hear women, and when they'll talk about young boys transitioning into men, they'll talk about, oh, these dudes don't care about what's happening with these women nowadays. And I'm always like, at what point did we prioritize teaching young men softness
Mm.
to where now you're frustrated that these men aren't soft with your daughters, that they're not considerate, that they're not, when did you practice this? I was just having a conversation and I was telling somebody, I don't practice on the stage. A lot of people tell you, well, get the reps in. When you get up there, maybe you'll bomb or maybe you'll have these experiences and it'll teach you stuff. I practice behind the scenes. So the way I treat the stage, the way I treat the relationship, the way I treat that moment is as if I've practiced over and over and over and over. It's almost psychotic the way I am about the stuff that I do. I go over it all the time. So I know that's the only way you could say when I do my workshops, I plan on interruptions. Because if you don't do that, you think everything is going to go the way it's supposed to go. I've done it long enough and well enough to understand, hey, the best of the best know how to go with a flow. A comedian at a show has a set. But when somebody does something funny in the audience, that's the best part of the show. It don't matter how much they planned it. The comedian that can adjust in the moment, real time to what's happening, gives you the best show. Somebody on their phone and they let them have it for it. Now that's the part you remember. They did a whole set. It was all types of jokes. But the management of disruption is the part that caught your eye, is the part that made you believe in their gift. So I've learned to manage disruption, and the school district has not. They think that emotional regulation is doing what you're told without evidence of an emotional storm brewing inside of you. I'm saying if we could get people to take those emotions, to understand why, and to cultivate it into greatness, we'll get better students, we'll get better teachers, we'll get better politicians, we'll get better lawyers, we'll get better. Everybody will get better as long as we prioritize this thing. You know, that's the battle. Because getting better might look like it costs money.
Right.
Then some people might not like that. Getting better
Right.
might look like it costs you some honesty, and everybody's not willing to pay that price. So that's what it is.
Yeah. The truth does hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm glad that you brought that up because in reality, okay, we're taught the school books and whatnot, but in real life, you might come across a situation that you're going to have to pivot and navigate or know how to pivot and navigate, right? And we're not taught that in school, just like financial literacy.
Yep. Yep. And we
So,
and we and we taught, but the key is they. I mean, for the most part, you taught lies though. Like, and this is why I'm so glad I don't work in the school district, because if a teacher had sat and said this on the camera right now, oh my goodness, it would be a problem. But I remember being in school and learning that Christopher Columbus discovered America. He did not. He did not. But this was, that's a simple example, but this is what I'm referring to. The blatant instruction filled with things that aren't true. And
right,
somebody being okay with sharing that information to somebody else who, if they had the truth, maybe their mind could create more. But if you only give them one lane to operate in, what they say all the time, history repeats itself.
yep,
So when you don't say that these people came to this land and they took it from people, you don't teach them sensitivity. You don't get to teach them respect. You don't get to teach them why you should learn about this culture that was here before you. You don't get
right,
to give them any of those experiences. You teach them, somebody discovers something, and then when they get older, the question becomes, well, how you discover something and somebody else was already there? That would be like you walking in my house right now and being like, hey, I found this, and I'm sitting there on my couch watching TV. What did you find? I was here first. What are you talking about? You don't get to have a conversation about the murders
Mm.
so people can understand what that's like. It's not about uh, it's just this thing where we've gotten so far from truth and so uncomfortable with it. Um, so yeah, no, when I'm in these school environments, that's really how I get to be oftentimes the voice that a lot of teachers want to have.
Mm.
They like no, yeah, Tuwan, go say that. Yeah, go get it. Yeah,
Right.
get it. Yeah, I don't like that neither. They like no, let me get my principal in here because they want to hear it. You know, you bringing me in there to do workshops and professional development with your staff, but your staff has supplies that say expire in 2000. It's
Mm.
2025.
Right.
The kids are reading books that say everything short of NIGGER. Like they say everything short. I'm in the middle of the hood. These are the books that we was looking at. There's pages that's missing. Don't even get me started on financial literacy. How do you
Mm-hmm.
as a country, we are in debt. How do you
Right.
not teach the kids to avoid debt or to learn what good debt actually is? Because it's not the stuff that America has. But you know, in a weird way, you only can give people what you have.
Right.
Um, and so I'm not trying to get on the pedestal of, oh, the country. It's not about none of that for me. It's about a bunch of systems, right, that don't work,
Mm-hmm.
and us not being brave enough to say, hey, enough's enough. We're not doing that no more. That don't work. I'm tired of you teaching my kids Christopher Columbus discovered America and not teaching my kids how to open up a bank account. I need my kids to learn about that. That's a part of adulthood. That nonsense with Christopher Columbus ain't got me a job. It hasn't got me an opportunity. It hasn't created anything that's cultivated anything in me. It's a lie that does not help anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And we're sharing those. So yeah, I mean that's yeah. I don't like that.
Yeah. I wanted to also note that you leave empowerment right at the table. And
Mm,
so if, like, for instance, the truth is out, then that would change the mindset of the youth, and they would feel empowered because they belong. You know what I mean?
mhm. Or let's take it a step further. The individual whose ancestors are the individuals who did that grimy stuff.
Mm.
You rob them of the experience of, ah man, I don't like that.
Right.
Like they should be able to say, wait a minute, how do you discover something somebody else was at? Not just somebody who looks like me that's tired of hearing it, but they should be able to have an objective stance. But if you've embraced and lived in that lie and created fortitude and solitude in that space, it's hard to go to the next generation and say, "Hey, we messed up."
Yeah.
So you know, for me, it's just as much for the person who went through it and for the people who have history with the individuals who caused it. When you keep that out of the space, don't nobody win for real. So now you got somebody could beat you in your youth, and in your 30s, 40 years old, you can still see it impacting how they move.
Mm-hmm.
There's therapists, um, psychologists who could say this is because of that. But you have an entire group of people that go through oppression, that go through systematic racism, that get abused, that got mistreated. Husbands had to listen to their wives being raped and not do or say anything about it. They had to share these experiences. And they grew up and they taught generations in alignment with those experiences. So when you say, well, it's years later, how does that still impact them? That's how. That's how. When I get in my car, I have the thought of, I hope I don't get pulled over today. It's not because I'm doing anything wrong. but I have been trained to have an issue in this space. That's what that does. So what stops men that come from where I come from, that look like how I look, from feeling that way about it? They got to have experiences with those individuals. They got to meet with cops that want to see them do well. So there can be neurons that's released in their brain. Oh, it is cops that care about people. You can't just tell people. So when you live in lies, you get to miss the healing power in truth. It's not just about the lie. Lies don't help anything grow. But when you start talking truth, people get the chance to be free. This is why when they say, Tuwan, why you write all these emotional, these personal books? Because I can tell you about my trauma because it doesn't plague me anymore. That's the proof. Every book is about something I've experienced. Every book is about a thought I had or something I wanted to explore to get better. Every one. So when they say how many books you're gonna do before your career is over, I don't know. Because every day I'm going through something. And some of those things get put into a book because somebody picks them up and they go, wow, this is what I was looking for. But I'm showcasing defeated trauma. And now I'm giving somebody a blueprint on how to have the same experience, to have that same victory so they could get to whatever it is they're supposed to be doing. And that's the same way in these school settings. We have to be, and I'm saying that as an educator, we have to be more interested in being educators and not teachers. There's a lot of teachers. Teachers share material, resources, and information that a system said they need them to share. Educators lead individuals from ignorance. And that's the difference. We got a system, we have an education system full of teachers and not educators. It's not saying that it's not no, because I know some phenomenal teachers. I'm not trying to put that out there. But what I'm saying is that ain't the majority. And we have to have voices that's louder than the majority.
Very true. And also be empathetic, right?
Yep.
That's, I think that whole emotional intelligence piece is missing because, okay, I have a job and I have to do this job. So it's not treated, it's unfortunate that it's not treated with care. Just like a doctor, visit where they're just like, they don't have any bedside manners. They're just,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
next.
Yeah. Like
And
a factory.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Well, you said so much that I'm speechless.
I
I
do
have
that sometimes.
I have so many questions, but I don't want to. I just want to make sure we're good on time.
Okay.
Um, do you have time to? I have a lot of questions, but I just wanted to.
Let's keep going. Let's see how I go.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So kids often learn more from what we do than what we say, right? What do you hope the young people around you see in how you live?
Um, Anything is possible through accountability. I crucify myself so the world doesn't get the pleasure of saying they did it. Honest with me, like I spent so many different, whether it be through meditation, surrounding myself with people that's gonna say, "Hey, Tawan, man, you got to be better," and then respecting those people enough to listen. Um, I'm gonna say this: people oftentimes choose to either be heroes or victims in a situation. And I understand why. When you're the hero, you save the day. Everybody love you. Oh my goodness, I can't believe you did it. And then when you're the victim, they did you wrong. You didn't deserve that. Both of those positions limit your opportunity for growth. Because you didn't do nothing. There was nothing else you could do the way you telling the story. So I treat everything like, what could you have done better? I'm okay with being a villain. I'm okay with that. And all of us is a villain in somebody's story. I just chose to find it in my own. So I'm like, hey man, Tawan, look, you said you want to do this. You shouldn't have been there. Once I started talking to myself like that, I started to create the ability to actually do something about it. So it's like, hey man, you shouldn't have been there. All right, I ain't going there next time. And now I'm not there no more. But when I'm like, man, I should be able to go do, man, they in there doing all types of stuff that you ain't got no business in there. So it don't, yeah, you might technically should be able to, but that's a non-issue if you ain't even there. I live in that space. Don't go places you ain't supposed to be. You won't have outcomes that you don't desire.
Mm. I think you're reading my mind because I was just gonna say that You're a villain in someone's story and a hero in another.
Yeah. So you should be. It shouldn't even matter. And
Yeah.
that's the part where you got to get to. You got to get to the space where it doesn't even matter. Like you like, man, look, I mean, what do I want to do? What do
Right.
I need to do? What am I capable of doing? What can I control? That's my favorite question. Keeps me
Mm-hmm.
out of so much trouble. Um, what can I control? If I can't control it, I'm not even stressing it. I'm
Right.
not. I don't. I can't control where people go, what they say, and what they do. So that's not even a thing for me. I can't. I could put something out a certain type of way. I can't control how they take it. So I don't even. It's not. You. If you start living life like that, you won't do anything. You
Right.
won't do anything because somebody's gonna always be offended by what you do. Somebody's gonna, man, I could be at events and I just got done talking to my PR and some people that's watched me speak before, and they like, hey, we want you to be mindful of your tone. We want you to talk like this. We want you to take your time. And I could go up there and I could do it exactly the way they said it. And then I'll get a review paper and it'll be like, he was too aggressive. And I'm like, what? What? That's not even how I talk. I did that. I did what y'all. So now it's like, hey, just go in the room and be you. Just go in the room and be you, man. Like, you know what's professional. You know what lines not to cross. But you go in the room and you give them Tuwan. You give them Tuwan. And some people going to love Tuwan, some people not. But I don't go in the room looking to be loved and looking to talk. I'm not looking to inform. I'm looking to transform. I'm looking
Mm-hmm.
to connect where connection needs to be at. So I understand if transforming your life means you hear a truth I share and you decide, man, F him, I don't like him. You start talking like that. Um, as long as you change,
Mm-hmm.
I did my job. I did.
Right.
That's all I was supposed to do was cultivate change. So if hating me is the thing that help you get to your next level and allows you an opportunity to positively impact somebody else's life,
Mm-hmm.
go for it. Go for it because that's what I do. That's my job. My
Mm-hmm.
job is to help you, or my job is to be a bridge to something. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not concerned with the wheels they use when they cross the bridge. I'm not concerned with the conversation they had over the top of me. That's not my job. I'm just getting you here. I'm getting you here, and then I'm gonna keep moving. So when it's time for me to get somebody else to the next spot, I can continue to do that. Everything else is not my responsibility.
I'm glad that you mentioned getting the person to the next spot because, yeah, everybody talks about breaking generational curses, right? But
Mm-hmm.
as Michael Jackson, may he rest in peace, you have to look in the mirror, right? It's the man in the mirror. In order
Yep.
to break the generational curse, you have to see
Mm-hmm.
what's what you're dealing with,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And combat it,
Mm-hmm.
whatever how in however way that looks.
Yep.
So what is your take on that? For those that maybe hey, this is the way we used to do it, this is how it's going to be done, and you just have these people where these characters out here that are they use their ego. Well, obviously we all have egos and we all have some type of narcissism
Yeah.
in us, but
Mm-hmm.
for those people that say that, hey, I'm okay and there's nothing wrong with me, but there are things wrong with everybody has an ailment. So how do you what would you say to people to actually see from a third party looking in?
Um, most people not gonna do that because of all of the things that you just described. They're gonna avoid that. So what I do, because again, I'm trying to lead you from ignorance, and I also understand you might not like me if I give it to you a certain type of way. So I become strategic, and I tell people, get you people around you that's not caught up in you. You'll get you surround yourself with people that think you dope, but they don't think you dope enough to lie to you. So you got to have people that tell them what the vision is and allow them to hold you accountable to the vision. So,
Mm.
when I say, hey, I say I'm gonna start this mentee program, I got friends that's like, hey man, what happened to that mentee program? You said that like 2 months ago. I can't argue with them. They
Right.
said what I said. They said this. They didn't do anything. So this is you surround yourself with people that believe in your greatness so much that they hold you accountable to it. It can't just be about, yeah, I practice a lot of that, like, I meditate, I pray, I could say all of these different things, but at the end of the day, I know myself, so I knew I could do. It wasn't about me not being able to do what needed to be done earlier in life. It was about being able to do it consistently. I knew what I needed to do. I needed to do it more. So what was going to help me do it more? When you know yourself, nobody else has the opportunity to kind of throw something at you. So I know what it is that's going on over here. So I know. I was just talking to one of my homeboys, and I was like, I know what I'm attracted to. Right. So if I'm looking for a relationship that's going to have more context, that's going to be more serious, I know not to get distracted by what I'm attracted to. I know not to get. So now, if you have those things, I'm asking you more questions. Those are prerequisites for more questions. I expect more intentionality. I'm more honest because these are things that I know I'll get distracted by. So now I treat that through a different lens, and that's what it got to be. Like you, it's not. I haven't. I'm not walking around here thinking I got it all figured out, and everybody else is. I'm treating it like, yo, I mess up too. So what I'm trying to do is create a life where messing up is harder. That's how I know I've matured. I care more about that. It's not about having it all figured out. It's about getting to a place where you're more committed to your growth than your comfort. And that's where I'm at. And that's what I would tell them too. Like fall in love with your process and not the result. Spend time in the gym, in the lab, creating, mess up, figure it out, find a problem, create a solution, find another problem. Go through the process. The process is what people need to see, but nobody often gets to see. You
Yeah.
one day you seen them and they was talking about being a superstar, and then the next day they're on America's Got Talent. And you like, oh man, they famous. If you a fool, you fall in love with America's Got Talent. If you got any sense, you ask questions about what happened from here to America's Got Talent, because that's the story. Everything that happened in the middle to that point will tell you everything you need to know about what happened. There, you'll learn about the discipline, you'll learn about the patience, you'll learn about the anxiety, the worry, you'll learn about how they manage all of the things that matter to get to that spot. That's where you start at. All that other stuff is just fleeting, and it won't matter in a couple of weeks.
That's so true. It's really interesting how some individuals have such resilience where you don't see the struggles that they've been through, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. They hurting
Because,
though.
yeah.
Yeah, they hurting. It's a lot of professionals that I do coaching with.
Hmm.
I call that the CEO coaching. But it's a lot of coaches that I do that with, that I talk to, that look amazing on paper. That look like they got it all figured out. And you talk to them and you have a couple of intimate conversations with them, and they break it down. Um, because all of us, see, the stuff we talking about right now, these are human emotions. They're not gender specific. As long as you are a human, you will experience these things. For whatever reason, men and women have been put in different situations where they've had to ignore their emotional truths. And you can ignore them on a conscious level, but your subconscious don't let it go. Your nervous system don't forget. So at the end of the day, you end up living these truths that you're trying to ignore. You don't want to be promiscuous. You don't want to be out here sleeping with everybody, but you don't believe in love and watch love fail so many different times that you'll chase the momentary pleasure that might come with sex, that might come with a relationship with a person that you don't really rock with. You don't really vibe with that person. You know that though. But you chasing highs, not consistency. I'm teaching individuals to build consistency and to fall in love with that. We don't even
Yes.
celebrate the wins the same way everybody else do, because we knew that was coming, because we was going to be consistent. That was a matter of time. We talked about, if we keep doing it like this gonna come. So when we sit at the table and everybody else like, oh man, y'all did it. We sitting at the table and our conversation loaded. Hey man, remember we was about to quit? We was about to quit, and we was like, we gonna put
Yep.
that thing in, and then 4 months later, that thing happened. We was about to quit, dog. We was about to, hey man, we was about to be done. But we stayed to it. Our conversation is different because we love process. We support
Mm.
and process. We grow and process. The people who not supposed to be a part of your circle celebrate your results. They celebrate your results. I don't have fans, I got followers. And they
Right.
fight like they check me. I love the people that support LIONH3ARTED and me as a they will. Hey, man, why you go to our podcast? You know the people know. Like my fans talk to me like that. Like, hey man, yeah, that was stupid. I don't like none of that. They wasn't asking you the right questions. It's stuff I wanted to know that I know you're doing. They ain't doing no research. They do it like that. They're that way. And so it works.
Mm. I mean, everyone has a different type of forte, I guess, in their spin. So
Mhm.
it's a good learning process, and it's good for conversation, right?
Sure.
Okay, well, let's move on. I mean, I have so many questions, but let's go ahead and skip to um
Oh, you got a
gu-
list up in front of you. You skipping down this. Okay. All right. Now I know what's going on. Go ahead.
let's skip down to we were talking about like gun violence, gang culture, and reclaiming the family, right?
Hmm.
Um Gun violence doesn't start with guns. It
No.
starts with pain.
Yep. Yep.
What pain are young people carrying that we keep ignoring?
Who they matter to?
Mm.
Who they matter to? I had a 14-year-old. It's funny. I had this guy, he was like 65, 70. He was talking to me about his whole life. He felt like he only mattered if he provided. And then so many men share the story. And it bothered him and it hurt him. Okay. I have a 14-year-old that tells me he feels the same way in his household. This is where he live at. His
Yeah.
mothers, his sisters, this is where he live at. So when a 14-year-old and a 60, 70-year-old man are saying the same thing, that's the problem. These young boys carry that hurt into adulthood. And the sick part about it is once that man becomes an adult, once that woman becomes an adult, their pain no longer matters. But it wasn't
Mm.
like it actually mattered to them when they was going through it. But now it's like, oh, you grown, get over it. Oh, you grown, you got to still do. Oh, time don't stop for no. You start hearing all of these things that don't address the root of the problem. And the root of the problem is that they was always hurting. They was
Mm.
always hurting. Broken adults were broken children that got ignored. So I tell people, no matter how frustrated you get with how these grown people is acting, you cannot come up here and do youth advocacy and talk about getting them to the next level and talk about understanding and being patient, right? And then ignoring the fact that when their parents are moving a certain type of way, they were taught the same thing they teaching their child. I remove all of be mad and I look for the system that I'm breaking. And I think that's what makes me effective. I'm not, I do the right thing because that's the right thing. I'm not talking like that. I'm trying to figure out what it is that's making you okay with this thing that's harmful to you and the people that's in your life. That's the thing. We got to change the thinking. We have to change the thinking. Again, not inform, transform. I could throw you out a bunch of statistics. Um, but if those numbers don't hit you in such a way that you're able to change your life, it's just more information that you got. So I'm completely against that. Now we out here. Our workshops, we on the floor. We might do yoga. I might say, Bontis, we about to meditate. Everybody sit crisscross, take your shoes off. Unless your feet stink, then keep your shoes on. But take your stuff off, and we about to sit here, and for 10 minutes we're gonna meditate, and people will get up and they'll be crying
Mm.
um, because they're trapped by what it is they think they're supposed to be. So when I bring these educators in here and they're doing yoga or they're meditating, what in the heck are we doing? You disrupt whatever it was they thought it was going to be up here. Their brain is now like, wait, what? We came here for professional development. Why are we on the floor? Why is he listening to Jill Scott or Sir or whatever I might be in the mood for when they walk in? Why is he vibing out like he at the house? Because that's the only way I'm gonna connect with you. That's the only way I'm gonna connect with you. You walk into a classroom, you know you about to learn. Your brain goes into okay, the teacher about to talk. You walk outside and the teacher talks to you out there about what the lesson is gonna be. All these things start happening inside of your head. Whoa, wait. We about to learn about science actually outside. We about to go dig in the dirt and look at the trees. You're gonna talk to me about the process plants go through while actually putting the plant in my hand instead of just telling me plants eat because they in the ground. You're gonna actually let me touch a root. You're gonna actually let me see what it is that that's all it is. That's you just gotta have that approach. Man, what was you like? What was you like? What type of experience would you have? Stop giving people less and then expecting them to produce more. I don't believe in any of that. I just got done telling one of my friends, like, he was talking about this woman that he's dealing with, and he wanted her to be a certain type of way and move a certain type of way. My question was very simple. Are you that way? I think it was I forget his name. He was an actor. He was talking about how he was in a room full of women and they was all talking about the type of man they want. And he was like, "Yeah, what else you want? Yeah, what else? Oh yeah, that too. That's a good one. What else? What else?" And they done created this master list. I like they got the super dude on there. He do everything. He's a rapper. He's a singer. He bench pressed 600 pounds. He over 6 foot. He sneezed money. He's a thug, but he still love God. They done created this super brother. Like this guy is, and then he said, now make sure you all of those things. You would have all the air left the room. All the air left the I don't make $100,000 a year, so why is a requirement that your guy do? That like stuff like that to me just sounds crazy. I'm not asking nobody, whether it's personal or professional, to do practice or be something that I'm not. There's not a team I led where there's a position that the individuals on that team has not seen me do. That's what makes them go harder because they like, hey, if he asking us to pick something up, he'll go pick it up too. So I'm not telling you to go do something I won't. You doing it because you see me in the field with you. And I recommend people do the same. Get in these environments, get in the dirt. Stop being afraid to get dirty. People want to see you dirty. The media teaches you that you're supposed to be clean in order for it to work. I'm telling you, people love drama. They do. So what I'm saying is, when it's dirty, stop waiting until it's clean to turn on the camera. Stop waiting for it to be clean in order to believe that now is the moment, that there's purpose in this situation. I like the dirt. I like it. I like the stress and the, man, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I like that because it always gets done. It always gets done. So now it's like, man, this story about to be crazy. I don't know how this is going to work, but it's going to work. And when it works, we on to the next thing. So that would be my what I would say.
Okay.
Mhm.
Get your hands dirty.
Get dirty.
Matter of fact, I just put what did I put? Mulch in my front yard. So I had my shovel and I was shoveling.
Out there getting dirty.
Yep.
Out there
It
getting
was,
dirty.
honestly, I really like nature because it helps, right? It's very therapeutic.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, but that's great that you're relating it, but you're also doing the physical aspect of it. And it's funny because your mind is elsewhere. It's not excruciating, you know, to do things. Okay, moving on. What would real gun violence prevention look like if it was centered healing, as which we were talking about, not just policing?
Mm. So when you focus on healing and not, because that's we were talking about it earlier, that's a system disrupt. That's a system disrupt. It's focused on, it's funny. Everything that's wrong with it, you see it now. It's focused on policing. You know what? People get tired of being afraid. They rise up. Everything
Right.
in history has taught us that. That's why I tell, like, my mentality is not how it make me feel. There's statistics and numbers for all of this stuff. So show me how it works. Show me how policing has dramatically not only decrease gun violence, but maintain that decreased stance wherever you're talking about it was decreased at. You don't get both of them. You get one of the two. It dropped for a minute, but now it's back up and it increased. Or they over there, they arrested a certain amount of people, or they're intimidating a certain area. So most people don't do something. They share those results with that neighborhood and say, look, it changed. No, it didn't. No, it didn't change. I'm saying that as somebody who used to do a whole bunch of stuff he ain't had no business doing. I'm just learning how to do it and not get caught. Same thing kids do. You can either yell at them about how they ain't supposed to get the cookie, or you can have a conversation with them about how eating that cookie and going to sleep is gonna mess up your teeth. Your teeth gonna fall out. You're gonna be walking around like this. Whatever it is you got to do, but there's truth there. So now they get to internalize it. It's kind of like that weed with the root. Oh, this is how it eats. So now there's a sensitivity towards the plant. There has to be a sensitivity towards the gun violence that's occurring. There has to be a sensitivity because, like, when I did the research symposium on urban education with the University of Wisconsin, I believe that was with them. Um, when we did the research symposium and we talked about urban education and the experiences there, one of the things that I mentioned was part of why the teachers in these urban environments are having a problem with being effective is because they're essentially policing the same way we're talking about now and not teaching. Because there's no way you expect that this little boy that just walked past two shootouts, his mama ain't got no food and they waiting on the stamps to come. Dad not in the house, got into a fight and could have got jumped on the way into the building. There's no way you expect him to come sit in that chair and be a scholar. There's no way. There's no freaking way you expect him to do. We start seeing changes and stuff like that when we do wellness checks at the door. When you start seeing stuff like that, when you start seeing, hey, if you don't feel okay, we can go talk, and not some old dried up. I'm talking about somebody who could connect, reach to these people, and go have a conversation. That's when we start. Let me put these guns down. When you take people like me, you take the Tuwan Smiths, the Mike Mathises in Cleveland, Ohio. You take these individuals with these colorful pasts, but education and passion for change, community, and develop, and you put them in these spaces to actually make a difference. That's when you see it. Because I trust that person. I trust that person. I know where to go get a gun. I've been shot at and shot at different. I've had these experiences, and then you put me in the room with the kids that's trying to figure out how to put the guns down. We get to have a different conversation as opposed to the person that just read a statistic and was like, "Yeah, y'all need to stop killing each other." Why are they killing each other?
Right.
Why? And until the why, the process is more important than the reward that you're going after. Like what you're seeing now is individuals posting what they believe rewards would be, not what the process should be. Hey, we trying to get these kids to put these guns down. We need everybody in this neighborhood show up here at this time, and we about to have a real conversation with these kids. We about to hug them. We about to love on them. We about to give them resources. We about to do everything we can to let them know that they matter and that we care. We ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. We doing that when it's back to school time.
Right.
We doing that when somebody gets murdered in the community. We're picking when this stuff matter. And these kids know that. I'm talking to them. Take my word for it. They know that. Only time I hear from you is when I did something wrong.
Right.
Or when I did something, maybe I did it right, but there's no in between.
Right.
And rewards can be negative. Like you can get, so you're available when you have a problem. You're available when it's a major achievement. But where are you at when I'm trying to decipher between doing what will be a major achievement and what might be bad for me? That's where I need you at. That's where these kids need us at. They need us in between why I'm about to go get the gun, not after I've shot it a couple of times. We late, and it's crazy because we know how to show up on time. That's what I said. I go in these rooms and I'm like, man, I'm not trying to hear none of that garbage. I ain't trying to hear none of that. I ain't like you can't. Oh, well, we're trying. No, we're not. No, we're not. Y'all trying to do things with the terrorists. Y'all trying to do things with the overall oppression of different individuals and their mentality. We can see y'all doing that. I can't see. I need to see y'all in here with these kids because don't nothing matter more than these kids. Nothing. They're the future. That's our doctor. That's the lawyer. That's the business owner. That's who that is. So why would you like cut out? It don't matter what I'm doing. I'm gonna always make time for the kids. Because the kid, and that's the man, you talked about what keep me going. Is that don't nobody support you like kids. Don't nobody support. I can turn on a song that they've never heard that I did, and they in there dancing. All for the strength of me. They just like me. They just like me. So now when I'm getting ready to go perform in front of a whole bunch of other people, I know some people that like this. And they gotta be y'all. I know some people that love this. So the energy behind it is that, and that's how it's supposed to be. We was talking spiritually earlier, and the word of God asks you to be childlike in your nature. That don't mean be immature, but that means nobody when we talk about what love is, the closest interpretation to that is how children treat people they love. It is not an
Mm-hmm.
adult. It's not a guru who's good with his words. It's not a poet. It's a child. You get a child can get disciplined and hug you right after that and mean it. It's
Mm-hmm.
not that. So we got to get to those spaces with everything that we do. But these kids need us, man. They need to know it's okay to do that. They hug us no matter what we do to them up until they get so used to what we doing to them that they start taking away the hugs. But it ain't because of them. It's because of us.
Right.
Because us, you cannot blame these kids that have not even developed cognitively all the way yet on how life is.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry for us. So if our kids don't listen, it's because we ain't gave them nothing to listen to.
Right. And I think that we're also missing the component of, like you were saying, we all have an inner child. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm still a kid
No,
in this
man,
group,
what?
in
Man,
this
what?
group.
I'm talking
But
about when we get off of here, I'm probably gonna turn on some 2K or some Call of Duty or something. I don't care what time it is. I'm gonna turn the game on and I'm going to enjoy my life. I have been on people's head, bro. You're not about to stop me from enjoying my life. You're not
mm-hmm.
about to stop. Like I do everything I wanted to do when I was a little boy. I wanted to make music. I make music. I wanted to go talk to the community and the kids. I wanted to be a voice for that. I go do that. I wanted to speak for advocacy with gun violence, with just mental and emotional awareness and growth. I do everything I wanted to do when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
This is the opportunity that kids should have.
Yeah.
This is the same opportunity they should have. Whatever it is they want to do, we should treat them like there are opportunity to remember hope, to
Yeah.
remember whatever it is. So like for me, like nah, like I'm, and this is even it's not a whole lot of little black boys and girls that get to see a black man that asks them questions like, "How was your day?" and will listen.
Mm-hmm.
I was just talking to one of the centers that I consult with, where I go through and I deal with their kids, one of the early learning centers, and she was talking about one of the guys that came in. And he was trying to posture himself like me. Now I got 5, 10 year relationships with these kids, with these families. They know me, but he was trying to take the versions of me that he thought he saw and trying to do those with the kids. And I tell him, and like I told her, I said, it's so frustrating because people always copy the most, what they perceive to be the most masculine and dominant traits with me, but you don't see me talking 16 kids come in the door and I have a conversation with 14 of them about their day, 1 to 3 minutes each. So for 1 to 3 minutes, I'm having a conversation. If they're emotional, I'm listening. I'm going back and forth with them. You don't see that part. You think being the man or being in control is, hey, sit down. I said, they listen to me because they know I love them.
Mm.
Period. That's what it is. There's
Right.
nothing else. There's nothing else. Anything else would be me just they listen to me because they know I love them. And so what I
Mm.
explain to them, if you want to connect with these babies, if you want to get them to reassert, if you want to get them to put the guns down, pick themselves up, you got to connect. They don't
Right.
feel connected to us. They don't feel connected to us at all. We two different. We ain't sitting at tables having dinners. We
Right.
ain't we ain't calling people saying, hey, we about to watch a movie today. They just had a
Mm.
statistic on that. It was like something like 80% of family gatherings have dropped. So it ain't a whole lot of
Mm-hmm.
cookouts. It ain't a whole
Mm-hmm.
lot of kick-its. It ain't a whole lot of let's make it happen. It's not. And the kids need that, man. Because if not,
Yeah.
all we're doing is teaching them to be smaller versions of us. And if you honest, I know a lot of grown people that if they could would knock somebody head off. So because they sick of their stuff and they haven't learned emotional control.
Right.
So why would you think that kid would know anything about that?
Right.
So we just looking at the kid like, oh, they so violent, but this
Mm-mm.
parent feels like the only reason they're able to provide is because they had that violent edge. So they
Right.
teaching them not to damage them, but like, hey, this is how I made it. You got to be. It's one of my things, and then I'm gonna stop there. If the only thing you know how to show is tough love, you don't understand love.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, tough love is the thing we hang our hat on. Like, I'm just gonna
Mm-hmm.
make sure you know. I'm just gonna, but I don't need that.
Right.
I don't want self love right now. Right now, I need a hug. Right now, I need you to tell me it's gonna be all right.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't do that because nobody did that for you.
Yeah,
You think that
exactly.
this is love, and it's so
Yeah.
much deeper than that.
There's two things that I was thinking about going back to the inner child, right?
Hmm.
It would be great if each individual will bring the inner child out of them
Mm.
to connect with the children. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of like you can't talk down to a kid. You have to get on your knees and you have to look at
Yep.
them
Yep. Yep.
and converse. So it's the
Hmm.
same dynamic, but you have to let your inner child because, well, we grow up and we become these adults and pay these bills and blah, blah, blah. But we forget ourselves in the midst because of how we were taught.
Yep. Yep.
And we, having to, like you were saying, or the book that you have, right? The Learn,
Hmm.
Unlearn, correct me if I'm wrong,
Yep. No,
that
you
book.
right.
So I think that we could make a huge difference if we just put the ego aside and just bring our inner child out. One. And you said so much that I'm speechless, Tuan.
Kids need kids to play with, and I tell the professionals, be a kid. Every
Right.
The reason why these kids love me, and I'll be honest, the reason why a lot of these people when we had these connections, they like, man, I really rock with Tawan, and they name all these reasons. Oh, it's because he do this, and he it ain't because of that. It's because when I go talk to your kids, they just see a bigger kid talking to them. That's it. Like I've lived enough to know, hey, it got to be a certain type of way when we do things. But man, I have the children get to connect with my inner child. I tell one of the things I use with the staff and the parents, and I'll give it on here. I always tell them, could the adult you are today safely raise the child you was many moons ago? And if they can't, you still got work to do. I don't care what you
Mhm.
think you've already done. If little Tawan can't sit across from Tawan and feel safe, heard, valued, and respected, then you got work to do. That's the life work. That's the life. If and I'm confident that little Tawan would live a much more fuller life with the man that I am today. And that's what I'm working towards. I'm not on anybody else's time. I'm not on anybody else's time. And that's in every area, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, whatever you need to put it at. Can this kid, can that smaller version of you sit across from you and be a better person after spending time with you? So I tell a lot of professionals, use that capacity, and then you'll find your patience. You'll
Mhm.
find your empathy because you like, oh, like I look at behavior different, right? So if little Johnny is acting crazy and little Johnny be with me all day, there's a disconnect between me and little Johnny because I don't go for crazy. I'm not blaming him though. I'm not like, oh, you don't never sit down and I do this so I know he know how to. It don't matter. It's not reaching him. It don't matter. My job is to transform, not to inform. I don't need to keep telling him to do better. Why are you missing the mark? Hey man, I know you know this. What's stopping you from doing it? Man, I got stuff going on at the house and I be mad, so I just be trying to make people laugh because I feel like, when people laughing, they paying attention to me. So your
Mhm.
issue ain't your behavior, you don't feel seen. But if
Right.
you don't have the capacity, if you haven't dealt with your inner child, you don't know how to view this disruptive behavior. You think it's
Mhm.
a sign not to be involved. I'm saying that means you want me here a little bit more. You don't know how to process it. You don't know how
Right.
to process it. I get around dudes, they don't show no emotion. These boys will act like they not bothered by nothing until somebody do it or say something, and now the whole room talking. Not the whole room. It was almost like you opened up a pot after you shook it. It burst everywhere. Everybody got a story. Everybody was hurt. Everybody need a hug. I'm like, but if you see these kids walk in here, you would think they're not interested in that. And I'm talking about, man, I've been blessed to be at prisons and watch men, women, or to be at youth detention facilities and to watch these breakthroughs. And I'm
Mhm.
like, you know, I'm not I'm not the person that spent 20 years in some type of psych school. I'm not the person who come from a family of excellent communicators or emotionally mature individuals. I don't come from, grew up in the suburb. I come from grimy, violent. Mom cared, dad did the best he could, but it was what it was. I come from
Mm-hmm.
that. And to go into these environments and to watch these emotional breakthroughs, not because I'm super smart with this or I do whatever, man, but just because I take time
Mm-hmm.
to watch that. It Nah, and then to turn it into a business where you get paid for it, like
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'm living. Like there's no other way for me to. I get to. I know I change people's lives, and I found this ingenious way to get paid for it. So I can't ask for nothing else. I can't. It's just about doing what I need to do to get to where I got to get to.
Mm. Wow.
Hmm.
We've talked about so many things. I look, we
Definitely.
need to do another
Yeah, I
episode
was
of
about to
that.
say we might need a part two. We might
But
need a part two.
let's move on to your song, right? The new
Okay.
How It Was hits
How it
beats,
was.
right? What will or truth sparked that track, and what do you hope people feel when they press play?
Well, first, when y'all press play to How It Was, man, you should have fun. Because when it come on, you hear some old school, hey, ho, you hear
Oh,
that.
yay.
But it's for me it was more of a celebration. It was more of a celebration than it was anything else. And I tell people like, you can't tell me how it was, and that's how it go. Got it out the mud from a city where they threw shells of slugs. You can't tell me how it was. Seen them in the kitchen. I just chose to cook the work a little different. You can't tell me how it was. Rent was overdue, but my baby needed pops to make a move. You can't tell me how it was. I come from a place where we make a way out of no way. What they say, you can't tell me how it was. And so even in the chorus, it's really about telling individuals like, hey, like I remember how I was, and you can't tell me what I've been through, but I'm here. You know what I'm saying? You
Mhm.
can't. Some people won't understand it. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't understand listening to somebody tell you, "Oh, you the greatest thing ever," going through your couch trying to find coins to go get you something to eat. You can't
Mhm.
like psychologically process feeling like you great, feeling like you next up, feeling like it's just a matter of time, but life not reflecting that in that moment. So yeah, you can't tell me how it was. You can't tell me everything was sweet because it wasn't. I'm
Right.
still here doing what I'm doing. I got every reason not to care about community because of the experiences I had in community. I just chose to let those motivate me to doing what I do today. It's not, I don't have a reason to do it, but it's what it is that I'm doing. It's what I believe I should be doing. My why in life is attached to this movement. So yeah, that song, man, it's West Coast. Um, it's a West Coast vibe to it. It's fun. I wanted to make sure that in the verse I was actually rapping
Mhm.
because I don't mumble rap at all. So I like words. I like I like double entendres. I like that. Oh, okay, that was hard. I like that. Listen to it a
Mhm.
couple times and figure out all those things. Anything other than that, I'm not. So you listen to How It Was, man. Get turned and remember about what it is that you had to deal with, that you
Mhm.
made it past. You know what I'm saying? How your mudge, your sludge. Even when I talk about from a city where they throw shells and sludge, it's a gun reference, but it's also hate. It's also
Mm.
jealousy. It's also disrespect. Like, I come from places where being different is frowned upon, but not that's the way people treat different. Oh, it's kind of like you, man, how it was. I don't know how you couldn't like it. And shout out to my PR, TGPR, man. We most, I was just talking about it. Most streaming platform or artists when they release a song, no real push, no heavy this and heavy that. Maybe 1,000 streams at the end of the month. Man, he just sent me a message today. We about 3 weeks in, sitting at 5,000. We 3 weeks in.
Mm.
So I was just telling my homie, like, it's something about feeling like God bless you with everything you do. It don't
Mhm.
matter what it is. When I decided I was gonna go to the schools, right in there. I had people that have been doing it for years. Like, yeah, we was all talking like, man, where did you come from? You just popped up, and it was like you was in the school, and we like, hey, what? We thought we knew everybody. So it was that. Whether it's that, the keynotes, the poetry. I started doing poetry on a slam U level. I was 16, 17 years old competing in national competitions for poetry. Won it, made it to the round, decided it wasn't for me, and didn't come back. That's my story with that. Didn't Hey, love poems don't never win. Do a love poem, I got 9.7. How'd you get a 10? So I've always been, oh, you can't do what? Oh, I'm definitely about to go. And then when I'm done with it, I'm like, nah, this ain't for me. So this has always been my thing. I've always been like I'm gonna go against it. Like you can't sell me on I gotta be away. And that's the spirit of how it was. Like when you play that, yeah, you're supposed to have fun. Hey, ho, hey. And then when that thing drop in, nah, man. We working on putting together a video. I'm trying to have some 70-year-olds singing it. I want some kids dancing on top of cars. I want it to be a celebration of life. Like I want it to be an energy, a vibe, like to where it's like, man, that's this you can't and that don't mean we stand there, but you can't tell me how it was. Like this is past tense, this is how it used to be. So when my attitude is this, when I'm talking the way I'm talking, if I'm making you uncomfortable, it's just because of what I've already made it through. And you can't tell me how I'm supposed to react to that, how I'm supposed to feel about it. Hey, bro, I'm locked in. I'm locked in, and I'm ready to give them something different. I got a daughter to think about. Like, nah, I want her to see anything as possible. You can't tell me how it was. So was she, you know what I'm saying? Like some of all them lyrics is very real. Those are all real experiences. They love you, but it's only when you're doing what they want. You can't tell me how it was. We ain't think we would eat trying to find quarters in the seat. You can't tell me like this is how it was. We ain't think we was, man. Come on, we were splitting meals, all types of stuff, man. Like I remember that feeding my nieces and nephews. I ain't ate in days, but they wanna they want to spend time with their uncle, and I'm not gonna remove that from them. So I'm doing that, and we good. They eat and they laugh and they full. They go to sleep. I'm over there starving, but I never let them know that. I'm full off of the love I'm showing them, and that's how it was. So that's what fortifies who I am. Like that's how, and it's so much more coming on the music side. I don't even know anybody that watches this, whether it's now or maybe they catch a recording later. I am definitely looking for more team members to help this stuff be managed because it's not like I'm doing one thing and the other thing ain't working. All of it's working, and all of it's working at the same time. And I trust God to provide everything that's needed. And I'm gonna always have the mentality to go after what I pray for. But hey, man, some booking, some some people that sent us some emails. We praying for some shifts in this time frame because it's a lot. And I'm grateful for it, but it's I send my emails, I edit my videos, um, I'm doing my reels. I've developed every website from Tuwan Spencer to LIONH3ARTED to some of the individuals that I partner with. I do videos, I do everything. So yeah, having some help, so whoever help a brother out, HBO special, HBO special. Come on, you
Right?
send me an email or send TGPR some stuff, and they'll check your stuff, and we'll figure out what the partnership need to look like from there.
Okay.
Yeah, get on.
Definitely tapping in.
Yeah, for sure. Please tap in. I'm eyes tied, boss.
Well, with that being said, we're gonna do a quick bonus round.
Mm,
Uh
okay,
make it a little bit light, right?
let's do it.
What's your superpower in one word?
Mm, 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 mm.
And not Melissa, whatever the that word
Oh,
in the dictionary.
yeah. Oh man, one word. Oh my God. So many words came to my mind. Um, I'm gonna say, dang, and I wanted to say that word I said earlier, but that ain't what I want to give. Um, I'm gonna say since being sensual, Sensuality. That's my superpower. I connect.
Sensuality.
Yeah, I take time. Yeah, yeah. Sensuality. That'll be the. I'm in tune. Like I'm not even. I'm looking
You
for the.
tapped in.
Hmm?
You tapped in.
Yeah, yeah. So that's. I'm chilling. Like I'm meeting everybody's soul when I meet them. I ain't just meeting you. We ain't. I'm not just talking. I'm never just talking to the person. So, man, most of that's usually how I go. I hear something in the spirit and then address it from there.
Hmm.
But sensuality, that's my superpower.
Okay.
Hmm.
Well, besides the dictionary, I was gonna say one book that changed your life.
Besides the dictionary, uh, one book that changed my life. That's funny. It's actually on my refrigerator right now. I have a poster of the first book I ever released called "The Black Sheep's Roar: The Problem and the Prophecy." I remember, I remember going through custody battles. I remember having a heater that didn't work and my landlord wouldn't fix it. So I used to have to take a pot that you like would make collard greens in and I
Mm-hmm.
would put them in the oven because the heat didn't work, but the electricity was fine. So I would turn the oven on and that heater where the flame would be on would get really hot. So if I put it in there early and left it, right, by the time I woke up in the morning, it would be warm and I would use that to take a shower. I was at a church where they were supposed to be working on the book. First lady started talking crazy about me. I go to the pastor about it. They stopped the book, the whole process. We 3 edits in the book. I
Wow.
had to talk to some family, go find another publisher. It was a
Wow.
whole bunch of other stuff that happened with me finishing that book. And the way that book was on my heart, the way God talked to me about it, I wrote that book in 7 days. That is by far the biggest
Wow.
book I've ever written. 7 days nonstop, came back. I'm talking about sitting on the floor, cold, uh, crying. So many other things was going
Hmm.
on. But at the completion of that book, when I talked about my relationship with God, when I talked about feeling like the black sheep and why that was good for my development and my growth, um, you couldn't tell me I couldn't write another book. You couldn't tell me that I wasn't spiritually something different, man. You make first ladies and apostles uncomfortable, and you don't even talk to them. Like once I started to
Hmm.
allow my brain to see it different, it was like, man, how powerful must you be to be in a room full of people and your only posture is you just grateful to be in the room and you making people uncomfortable. So this ain't my spirit. It's theirs. It's something going on there.
Right?
To where something like, cause I'm like I said, I'm honest with me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, I don't want no problems with nobody in here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really trying to figure out how to elevate. So I'm in this room watching, fascinated by everything, listening, and you run into stuff like that. So yeah, that book, I wrote that book. Oh man, it was a point where I was in Buffalo with Brian and Stratton College. Some drama had happened with what they was doing with some of the students. One of the people there that I think they let go of, but he was moving in a way that was I didn't think it was right. It was a lot. There was a lot going on, and that book was still done. That book was still done. Um, yeah, like yeah, man. Not even now when I think about it, getting up. Oh man, I had got COVID when I was working on the book.
Oh my
Um,
God.
yeah, literally almost died. Like it was so many
Mm.
different things happening during that. By far, the book that changed my life, because that was when I realized, like, oh no, you supposed to do this because you got like 40 reasons why you could have stopped.
Mm.
You got like 40 reasons why you could have stopped this book. Not only did you not stop, you wrote a book, one of your biggest books, in 7 days. I'm
Mm.
talking about wrote it, typed it, created the cover, put it
Wow.
on, sent it out, all that. 7 days. So it was like at that point I was like, oh, you could do it.
Mm.
And I think that year went on to do 4 more books. So it was kind of like it was an elevation. It was a that was a spiritual download for me. It was like, man, stop playing with you because you creating things that's changing lives while yours is in shambles.
Mm.
everything's going wrong, and you producing.
Yeah.
So for me, when it's like that, when you don't know how you doing it, it's because you ain't the only one doing it. So for me, yeah, that's the black sheep's roar, the problem and the prophecy. I got the flyer on my refrigerator with a magnet, big old poster. I'm gonna put it on the frame. I'm gonna do that with all my books. Put them in some frames, line them down my hallway, so when I walk past, I can see them almost like you at a movie theater or something. Um, I want to do that because that book, yeah, that was. I mean, yeah, I recommend. And I got some books coming out, but the Black Sheep's Roar, the Problem and the Prophecy. If you have ever felt like you didn't fit in, but you felt like it was a divine calling or purpose in you not fitting in, that there was things you needed to do. If you ever felt like the black sheep of your family, I'm telling you that it's
Mm-hmm.
prophetic. I'm telling you that it's prophetic and that there are a bunch of solutions that will be created from you being a problem. And if you need anything to help you understand that more, go pick up that book. I'm gonna be 50 years old still telling people to go get the Black Sheep's Roar, The Problem and the
Mm-hmm.
Prophecy, because that book was one of the rawest, emotional, honest books I've ever written, especially pertaining to my spiritual journey. You read that book, I read it and get emotional like I didn't write it. And I definitely wrote it. And I read it and I still read it and be like, ooh, that's good. Let me underline that. That was woo, woo. I still have
Right.
moments where I read it and I gotta go like praise baker. I gotta go cry somewhere. Cause it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's really authentic. There is no made up in that book. Yeah, yeah. There you go right there.
This one right here.
Yeah, that's the one right there. That's the one right there. That book is gonna build and break your heart at the same time. You gonna see that book and you gonna all that stuff where you felt like you ain't fit in, where they overlooked you, where you felt isolated, where it was like, for me it was like, man, God, I really just don't want to be like them.
Right.
I see how they talk. They say I'm supposed to move away, pray away. They say I should
Mm-hmm.
do this. I don't want to do nothing the way they do it. They in the community. They're coming in every Sunday and giving their money, but the neighborhood still look the same. I don't want to do that.
Right.
I don't. So it was those things where I always, and what the world would do would teach you that you are a problem for not conforming. But the people that
Mm-hmm.
changed the world never fit in. They stood out. They stood out.
Mm-hmm.
So the Black Ships wrote a problem in a prophecy. Best book I've ever read, written, and I've read a lot of books from Gary Chapman to Five Love Languages,
Mm.
uh, The Art of War to all the things you could think of. Books about different religions. I've read a lot of different books. The Black Sheep wrote a problem in the prophecy. If you're watching this, if you haven't
Mm-hmm.
got a copy of it, you need to go get a copy of that. It's gonna change your life.
For sure. Yeah, it's on Amazon. Let me go ahead and pull it up so folks can see.
Yeah, yeah, please
So
do.
right
There you
there.
go, right there. And it don't even cost you a lot of money. My books ain't never over $20. I try to stay underneath that.
Yeah.
They'll never be over that. Sometimes they be on sale. Sometimes it be like that. Go grab you that book, man. One of my coworkers at Bryan and Stratton College not only
Mhm.
grabbed the book, she did a Bible study with the book.
Wow.
Yeah, that like when stuff like that started happening, I was like,
Wow. That's
stop, don't do that, don't do that, don't. Like
right.
I wanted it to impact people, but not. I ordered 6 copies. Me and my family read it every weekend. We sit down and read it, and we highlight stuff, and we have. And I'm like, again, man, I'm a kid that was born in Buffalo, New York, raised in
Mm,
different hoods between here and Cleveland. So hearing stuff like that is like,
it's deep.
man, man, because all it took was a couple of turns, man, and I don't, so that's why I say I'm just so grateful, man, because I know that it wouldn't have been hard to not be this guy.
Mm.
It wouldn't have been hard. So, yeah,
I'll definitely check that book out for
yeah,
sure.
please check that book out, and then leave a review, and hey, man, once you read it, I tell people get to, because because once you read it, you're gonna want to give it to somebody, and it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be emotional when you give it to them. Because we talk about it's one thing, and then I know you're trying to move on, but I feel led to say this part. There's a part in the book where I talk about, because the book I do a lot of relating my spiritual walk to that of what happens with sheep, right? And so when a sheep is, let's say a sheep is bitten by a snake and it's working the poison out of his body, the shepherd separates the sheep so he can do what he do. Because what'll happen is the other sheep will watch and they'll start picking up on his habits.
Mm-hmm.
That sheep poison, so he eating grass he normally wouldn't eat. He might be going off in the distance. So
Mm-hmm.
the shepherd got to come over there and navigate him to make sure he's doing what he's doing. So he want him to be a part of the flock, but not a part of the flock right now. I need to isolate you so you
Mm-hmm.
can work out whatever it is you need to work out to be who it is that you're supposed to be. As if that's not a message enough in that, I started to really look into the habits of how they dealt with that, and I'm like, man, how many times have we felt like we were separated with purpose, even if it didn't feel good? Because I
Mm.
was like, imagine how the sheep felt. You know, you something when
Yeah.
you grazing, and then it's like something bit me, and then all of a sudden you're removed from your family, and
Mm.
you're still moving with them, but you're not moving with them. And even little situations like that, talking about that in the Black Sheep's Rudder problem in the prophecy was like, these were moments with God where I realized the same thing is happening with me. The
Mm.
same thing that's happening with me. I'm producing at a high level in isolation. I'm suffering through the poison of anxiety, regret, fear, pain, suffering. There's these different
Mm.
things that's cultivating something inside of me. And I'm looking, and these people that I love, they don't get it. I can't make
Yeah.
them understand the way that I'm trying to explain it, but I can't. And I don't know what to do. Why they don't understand where I'm coming from, man? What's really going on? What's going on? I'm at this place. And then that's when you realize it's all for your good. Because once you manage the pain, the poison, the regret, the poverty, once you manage all these things, when it's time for you to go back, you get to help heal them from things they haven't suffered from yet, or heal them from things that have been in play
Mm.
generationally. The black sheep saves every family when they walk in purpose.
Mm.
I put money on it. I don't care who they is. You point me out a black sheep. If they moving the way they supposed to, they change the whole culture of their family. That individual, they make things become possible. I got nieces now that want to rap because they hear Uncle Dante rap. But at the same time, I got family that's like, oh man, Tuwan ain't never gonna be nothing other than a thug, other than a gangster, other than they say all of these things because those are things I was. They ain't paying attention to who I am now. They ain't paying attention to who I. So it's like that black sheep stuff, man. The same dude that they said was only gonna be this was a problem because of that. I inspire change creatively. I go out here and impact youth, adults, business professionals,
Mm-hmm.
and I was difficult. I was the problem in the prophecy. So I'll be like, hey, that book right there, it's the perfect blend of real life and spiritual. Um, like I said, man, I read that book again, and I'm talking about maybe 2 pages into chapter one, and I'm emotional. I'm like, no, I can't even finish reading it. I gotta take a break. And I'm like, I was talking to one of my friends, and I'm like, why is this happening? And I wrote this book. I know what the words is in this book. I know exactly what's coming. And man, that's what happens when it's authentic. When it's real, when it's saying, and I'm like, I feel like I need to go order another copy just cause. Like I just
Mm-hmm.
like, and I now at this point I was buying them and just giving them away because I know this gonna bless you. It ain't even I know it is. I'm telling them take the book for free. Only thing I need you to do is go on Amazon and leave a review because this book it's gonna change your life. You're gonna read
Mm-hmm.
this and it's gonna feel like a conversation with me and we just talking about what 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 has happened spiritually for me and you're gonna hear it and be like it been so many people that come to me afterwards and be like, I would read you say that this was your stuff and felt like it was mine.
Mm.
Like they like this is 7 days, man. 7 days, 7 nights. pouring everything. And mind you, think about the stuff that I said was going on: divorce, custody, sickness. I'm sick, so I ain't going to work. So money low. Everything is happening for this book to not happen. So when this book is finished, it's everything documented. It's you can feel like I don't even talk about some of the stuff I'm sharing with you in the book, but I promise you, when you read it, you're gonna be able to tell, like, that's probably you're gonna have those thoughts. That's probably when he was dealing with such and such. Dang. Like it's like that. It's like I talk about not being accepted in this church. I talk about knowing that, like, and I'm like, man, God, why you? I still felt like God was telling me to go. I'm like, man, they don't like me. I don't want to go nowhere where they don't like me. I'm not going there. I know that they don't rock with me. And he like, go, man. I learned so much patience. I am a motivational speaker. I use words. Somebody's not going to like the stuff I say, and sure enough, people have tried to stop me from certain opportunities because they don't like what I'm saying or how I'm saying it. So I had to. That was practice. That was practice for a bigger stage. I had to have a relationship with God that wasn't predicated on my relationship with other people.
Wow.
I had a book. I wanted this book to be done. Is it gonna stop because they stopped? What's so now this is discipline. This is encouragement. This is identity. This is truth. I'm learning all of this and some stuff that I don't want to do. I'm learning how to finish. I was hurt. Yeah, I didn't want to write this book. It was days where I just stared at the computer and I'm looking at Microsoft Word like, yeah, not today, man. And I was just staring. I'm talking about 2-3 hours of staring at a screen. Everything else is turned off, just staring at a screen and being like, God, I want to break down. Like I don't want to write. I want to cry. I want to get this out my system, but it never got out of my system. And all I would hear is write. And the friends I did have at the time, they would say, man, that's a scribe anointing. That's a scribe anointing. Like what you releasing is coming through the work. That's where it's supposed to be. That was the breakthrough. If I didn't keep typing, if I didn't keep thinking, if I didn't keep writing this book, with everything I had going on, man, this book is so phenomenal, man. With everything I had going on, I truly believe that's a high suicidal moment in my life. Yeah, that was up there. And with wow, yeah, that book was that book is that book is the reason why I'm here today. That's what that book is.
Chills. Wow.
Yeah.
So, what was gonna say? I've heard. I'm not sure how true this is. That
Okay.
as energy, right? We choose prior to coming into Earth
Okay.
or to this world. You choose your family, or you choose. Have you ever heard that statement or
I've
that
heard somebody
theory?
say that before. What you think about it?
I was wondering what you thought about.
I think absolutely not. I think it sounds good. I think absolutely not because I wouldn't have chose my family. I wouldn't have chosen.
Right.
I love these people, man. I would. There's not a doubt in my mind that I would have picked somebody else. I wouldn't have. And I think that's why I don't believe in that though, because who picks who picks the the drunk uncle that's always aggressive with you, but that teaches you some form of toughness? Who picks that? Who willingly picks to have that? Who picks the mother that was never around, but somehow turned this little girl into one of the best mothers the world has ever seen? Who picks that? I don't, you know, to me, if you could pick stuff like that, well, what's the point of something like divine intervention? What's the point of a God? If you could shape stuff from that moment, I think you'll have experiences that will help shape and catapult you to who you are purposed to be.
Mm,
I think that's up to you. I think that part is entirely up to you. You could go here, or you could go here. Each one of these decisions will get you somewhere. I was watching this lady speak, and she was like, "You're only one decision away from changing your life.
mhm,
One decision. It's only one thing you got to do that will start you on the path that changes your entire life. So no, it's hard for me to who I would never, man, what I'm talking about, I I would have thought I deserved better and I would have picked better, but I wouldn't be better had I picked better. So no,
Right.
I don't even want the ability to do something like that. I want everything that's for me to come for me. The good, the bad, the beautiful, the grotesque. I want to experience all of it and walk out the way I'm supposed to. I don't get to pick my hand, but I do get to pick how I play the cards I was dealt. I'm more interested in that. All that other stuff don't even matter. Imagine sitting at the blackjack table or trying to convince them to give you what you need. That's not how that works. Every hand, you get a different hand in a different situation. And every time, you are responsible for playing it the way it needs to be played. I feel like that's what's going on. I've never seen a person at the table. You ain't passing these cards out right. You need to do. You get what you get, and then you make a decision. So you can worry that. Like, why worry about that though? Because we're about that. Wait a minute. So you telling me, like, imagine, and I, we trying to be light, but imagine saying that to the woman whose father molested her. You think she picked that? You think there was some point in time where, in a state of divine consciousness, you think she was getting created in the stars, and she was like, "This is what I want for me." Nobody's going to do that. Everybody's going to pick what they believe to be easier, and that's how everybody's going to doom themselves. They're going to pick, if you got any type of sense, you're going to pick the parent that got all the money. You're going to pick the one that live in a nice house. You're going to have all the nice, all of us is going to pick the same thing. And that's what the problem is going to come at. It's not, ain't nobody, just stop playing with me. I'm not, listen, my family in New York was gangsters. I'm not, hey, my family is full of thugs. The women, the dudes, I'm not, and I got a daughter man, I'll be looking at her sometimes and I'm like, I see some of the stuff that's in me, in her. I see it. And she's 6. And I'll be like, yeah, so ain't no way. Ain't no way. You're not gonna tell me she was in the stars. It sound good. Like she was chilling in the stars and she was like, I want that to be my daddy. Not by the time that I knew I was gonna be a daddy. No, not me 6 years ago. 6 years ago? Nah, man. I was figuring out a lot of stuff. Now when I knew she was coming, something in me snapped. So I will, to that point, I will acknowledge that. But if you're talking about, no, actually, no, I'm not, man, what? I love my mama to death. She done got on my nerves so many times. I would have definitely picked Oprah. I would have definitely picked Oprah. If I would be irritated, I wouldn't be rich. Irritated. But then it's like, even with that, you don't know what these, like, you know how many wealthy kids I talk to that hate their life?
Right?
They hate their mother. They don't like their dad. They feel like nobody listened to them.
Right.
So you get the same. It's gonna be a problem no matter where you at. It's gonna be a problem no matter. That's why I said I don't complain about the cards. What I do is I ask God for the wisdom to play them correctly. That's how I look at it. Just let me know. Like if this is just Uno, make sure I don't just throw this draw for it on because I seen it. Let me let me just give me the moment where boom, now I'm about to win the game. Let me give me the grit to hold on to this card just to the end. Let this be my last card. So when they start trying to change colors, I could just hold it and look at them and be like, yeah, this game over. But that's how people, and that's, man, that's a profound example because I feel like that's what most people would do. They would ask for better hands and then they would still play them incorrectly. They would ask for better experiences, what they believe to be better people, and then they would get all of those things they asked for and they would still mismanage them. Because
Yeah.
the issue ain't the people, the issue is us. The issue is not the hand. The issue is how we play them. If you
Yeah.
look at your hand and you be like, "Ooh, this ain't no good. This ain't no good," you should be trying to reframe your mind for resilience. You should be trying to reframe your mind for wisdom to make the best out of your situation. I tell people you don't need anything. You have enough right now. You
Yeah.
have enough right now. That is, and people, it'd be crazy to me how they see it, but that is such a thinking from a place of deficiency to think that you need something else to do something great. You're not gonna tell me that you believe, whether it's God, the universe, Buddha. I'm not here to do that with you. Whatever it is, you're not gonna tell me you believe in it and you believe in this process and this power, and he gave you the most bootiest life, and it was without purpose. He gave you abusive and, and ignorant parents, and you picked them, and it was without purpose. Like, stop it. Stop it. I seen struggle, and now I've mastered it, and I go teach people to do the same thing. I can't imagine having the opportunity to ask. My father was in and out of stuff. He had his own stuff going on, different things he was battling. Those experiences is what made me want to be a better father. So I could ask for a different father. I could ask for a different mother. But what do I lose if I get that? What do I lose if I get that? Let's say I had a dad that we ain't never lived in the hood. We always lived in the suburbs. There's too many kids that be in the hood whose lives I changed to choose to have a different life. I don't, if I could pick, I would choose not to. Like, I could see me asking, like, yo, if I choose these people, what's gonna happen? In the moment that big man in the sky go, you're gonna miss out on this, and this. It ain't worth it.
Right.
Not, nah, man. No, I love walking into hood schools and the kids feel comfortable and we grow together. I love walking in the suburbs and the kids like, man, he don't look nothing like me, but I feel him. I love that. I love all of those. Man, I would never. I ain't trading that for nothing. You couldn't even pay me to, like, for what? For what? All right, nah. And I love, like, the way I look at people, business, relationship, dating, and all. Like, no, I know I got everything I needed. I got everything that I needed. Everybody was exactly who they needed to be. Even down to this interview right now. I would never pick, like, think about that. If you was able to pick different parents, you don't know that you do what you do right now.
Right.
Somebody sees this interview and their life has changed because you did things to get you on a point to where you wanted to create a platform for an interview. I did things in my life to where I wanted to create a platform for LIONH3ARTED and change and different things like that. And like I said earlier with my mom, pastor, preacher, or a pimp, she planted a seed. She planted it. I didn't do that. Imagine asking for another mom and she don't say none of that. Now, anybody who talks to me like, man, I can see you doing all three of those things. I'm not, I'm not, I'm not trying to, but I'm like, God dang,
It's
you know.
hot out here for a pimp.
I tell my mama all the time. I said, hey, listen, I said, she'll never admit it, but I'm like, hey, you might be one of the most prophetic people I ever met in my life. Because everything I'm doing, and me and my mom joke about that all the time, everything I'm doing, she caught it. Everything I'm doing, she caught it. And I'm talking about early, not when I started
Wow.
talking. I'm talking about 5, 6 years old. I remember her telling me this. She ain't got to tell me she told me. I remember her telling me this, like, cause she had just watched me do things and be like, wow. So now when I do something or it's a contract to go speak somewhere and I just finalize the deal, she'd be like, yeah, I told you that. She that's our little joke. She don't even she'd be like, yeah, wow, that's dope. I feel like I kind of told you that that's what's gonna be. And she did. And she did. I'm talking about early. I'm talking about when it made no sense, not just because of age, but because of my decisions. You know what I'm saying? When I was fighting and skipping school and not listening to nobody, getting arrested, she would say this stuff all of the time. So now it's like when it's happening, she been telling me this. I'm still walking in the prophecy of my mother. This is not, she called this. That's it. She called this. So nah, man, don't pick nothing. Let the people they that you were given, everybody. Oh my God, everybody. Whoever might be listening to this, stop thinking that you got to get people out of your life because they don't fit the program. Nothing is accidental.
Right.
Nothing is accidental. Everybody you meet cultivates something, whether it's you need to learn something or it's something you can impart in them. And stop thinking that when you get around these people, it's your job to change them. Sometimes you'll meet people that's supposed to stir up something inside of you. It ain't got nothing to do with you fixing nothing on nobody. We love to be fixers. That's that narcissism. That oh, they gotta be like, no. Why you are imperfect. You are a regular person. I don't gotta do nothing like what you feel like I should do it. I don't even think like that when I meet people, man. I be learning. When you was talking, it was so much in my mind that I was trying to process on a deeper level with what was being said. Cause I'm always look like what I'm supposed to get. When I go out,
Mhm.
I could be out at a bar. I want to drink. I want to see some nice lights, and I'll go to a bar. I'll be sitting there by myself, looking at the lights, watching people, and it'll be something. I'll walk out smiling. They'd be like, "Man, you ain't even talk to nobody." But I was listening to a dude that stopped at the bar too, and he just called his wife to tell her, "Hey, he was okay." They closed the deal. He just went out with Bob to go get some drinks, and he just wanted to check
Mhm.
in. And he's so happy, and she's on speaker, and she's like, "Oh, I knew you could do it," and they happy. And I needed to hear that. I was too caught up in trying to create a life that I was ignoring life happening. So I'm one of those.
Mm.
Like you gotta nah man, I don't no premeditated hands, man. Just give me these cards and I'm gonna work. And that's a better story anyway. That you got it and you figured it out. So nah man, everything that happened the way it
Mhm.
was supposed to. And I love my mother and father too much.
Mhm.
And I'm talking about in their shortcomings, not in their beautiful moments. I love them too
Mhm.
much in their flaws to ever ask for a better anything. I don't even think it's possible. I think they were the way they were supposed to be, um, and they did what they could with what they had, and they dropped the ball right in the touchdown. And now it's my job to run it back again. I don't care what it looked
Mhm.
like. They did their thing, and that's it. So whoever watching this, don't be asking for no different. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't be asking for no. I don't care what the parent did. I don't care how tough it is. I don't care how much it hurt. You know what I'm saying? Think about your resilience and your strength and your fortitude because of that stuff you went through. And man, I told my dad before he passed, thank you. Thank you for
Mhm.
because he taught me in his absence and in his presence. And my daughter benefits every lesson he taught me. Period. So before he left, we was cool. We
Mhm.
was cool. Like it wasn't no none of that. This is especially when you go through some life and you start realizing what it means to be an adult. And you start to be like,
Right?
okay,
Oh my
okay.
God.
That wasn't because you was negligent. That's because that was annoying. I get it. I get it. That's a lot. That's a lot. I can't I'm not sure I would have did something different. I'm not sure. I can say I would have because I'm not in his
Uh-huh.
situation. But when I watch some of this stuff and then you go through it on your own, you be like, mm, okay. He used to tell me that before he passed. He was like, "You'll see."
Yeah.
I'd be like, "No, I ain't. I would have did this. I would have." He like, "You'll see." I'm telling you. He was like, "Watch, watch. You go see. It's gonna get." And that's what it was. Yep. That's it. I'm done.
Well, shout out to your mom and dad.
Yeah.
My condolences.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, well, let's see. We're gonna close out,
Yep. Okay.
and then we can do a part 2 or 3 or
Do it.
4 or whatever,
Do
however many episodes you
it.
would
Do it.
love to have. But is there? How was your experience rather with me at NNO 360?
I think you did great. I'm gonna give you some stuff to clip. All right. So this is the part you clip at the end of the video. Um, I think you did a wonderful job with the interview. You did a great job about asking questions. I go on a lot of podcasts and talk to a lot of different individuals, um, and it's either mindless conversation um, or it's not. It's a lot of opportunities that get missed because they don't do research the way they need to, because they don't ask certain questions. So I think you did a wonderful job at asking questions, at painting things, painting scenarios to talk through. And you should be super excited about everything that you're doing and about everything that's about to come. Um, and yeah, man, nah, man, you did really good. Like I said, I've had a lot of interviews where I was like, man, I can't wait for this to be over. I'll be trying to hide my face on the camera because you'll see it in my face. There's a couple of them. I hope the editor catch it because there's some of them where I was about ready to go. You can see it in my face. Then say something, and I'll be like, yeah, what you think about that? Absolutely nothing. My brand is not allowing me to touch anything that you're talking about.
Uh oh. Uh-oh. I lost you. Come back. There you are.
Okay, yeah, somebody had called me, but yeah, you did a amazing job today. It was
Thank
funny,
you.
it was thoughtful, it was really good questions. When we do part two, I expect some more fire questions with more of an opportunity to go deeper. Um, yeah, man, the rapid fire thing I thought was dope. You should get like a bunch of rapid fire questions and don't allow me to expand on them. No, don't allow me to don't allow me to expand on them because that's my mind work. I'll be all up in here, man. It'd be a lot, but it'd be jewels. But I'm definitely a talker, so I would. But now
Me
you did
too.
amazing. You did no, you did amazing, and I think this is good. I think what I would say you should look into getting multiple guests and doing that. I wouldn't say none of the relationship things where it's like 10 people, you know how they set their stuff up like that. But I think
Mhm.
three or four, you and three other people, you and two other people, and y'all should have conversation. Like this was a conversation. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So that's what I think a lot of people like when they get to experience a conversation, when they get to so all of that stuff, some stuff in the chat so they can interact and do they want to. But I think stuff like that, I think you will really thrive at that in those dynamics. So maybe look into those as well as the one-on-ones. Get some if you interview some people and they all dope, put all of those people together. Hey, we're gonna all come in here, and that's gonna help you with your views, with your retention, and all that other stuff because now you adding people in there. This is the business coach part of me. This
Yeah.
is this is
Look.
why I be quiet a lot because that's what you. But that's what I would do. I think you
You're
ask
dropping.
enough questions
Mhm.
and they're detailed enough to where I think you will be able to maintain that type of thing without it going all over the place. So if I was you, I would be looking into that.
Well,
But other
thank
than
you.
that, hands down, um, it's crazy. Now that I'm thinking about it. You women folk do interviews the best. I'm thinking about it. Like all of the interviews that I've been on, the ones that were top tier as far as questioning,
Mhm.
professionalism, engagement, women, women. Unless I'm doing the podcast, I'm different. I do too. But I think no, like for real. Like I'm
You're
sitting here thinking
dope.
about it.
Yeah. I
No,
really enjoyed it.
I'm sitting here thinking about it. Like, yeah, every podcast that I was on with the questions were always on point with brand. There was always
Mhm.
forced. I always had to think. Like it was always like, let me pull this out. You know, and it always turned into conversation. Good podcasters have conversations with their guests. They
Mhm.
have conversations. It's not this, and then that. It's not they say something, and then you like, man, what? Hold on, why you say that? And then it's that. So what was supposed to be 40 minutes turned into 2 hours. You got to edit stuff. You got to clip stuff. You got
Well,
to. So I don't feel for you because you got a lot of stuff to go through. You got a
we're
lot of stuff. I don't feel for you.
we're
I
still
don't.
live. Well, we're live, right?
I do, and I
People,
split this part too. I
but
don't feel for you. And you all you people that want to podcast, that want to edit, that want to do interviews, that want to do all of this is part of it. All of this is
Mhm.
part of it. We
Yeah.
started at 9 o'clock. It is 11:23. So now she's going to end this podcast and she's going to probably try to go to sleep. If she like me, I'm going to start messing with stuff as soon as we get off the podcast because that's how my mind works. But now she got to do all of that. She got to make reels. She got to find the parts that are engaging. That's like, wow, that was good. And she got to make reels and put them out so more guests and more people want to tune in. So some of
Mhm.
y'all gonna watch this and y'all gonna get off and y'all gonna go about y'all day. People that do this work, we don't get to do that.
Right.
So share stuff and support, help out, do all of that. You might want to get some Opus clips or something if you're gonna be interviewing people for
Right.
2 hours. You might want to Opus clip some stuff. I ain't gonna lie to you. I try not to use that type of stuff because I don't be trusting it. But it's a whole lot of stuff to go through. So
That's true.
I
Well,
don't feel for you. I don't want to do what you're doing.
you see.
I don't want to do anything that you do. I'm so glad that when we get off, I'm gonna pour me a drink and I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my night. And that's all I have to do. You, oh my goodness. Mm.
I have my ways.
Tag me in it, whatever you do.
I have my ways.
Tag me in it, whatever you do.
Oh, don't worry. Yeah, we're gonna have to do what they say, the after party, right?
yeah. See, okay, see, I got some questions, but I'm wait. Let me
No,
wait.
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm not. Because I was. So where are you based out of? At?
I'm in Virginia.
Okay.
The DMV.
Okay.
DC, Maryland, Virginia.
How you like Virginia?
It's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's it's all right.
All of Virginia just got mad.
Oh, my
Everybody
bad.
in Virginia is like, what? What? We just watched her talk for 2 hours. She talking about we all right. What?
No,
What? Wow. Okay. All
I
right.
mean, Virginia's for lovers. That's the
That's what
tag.
they say about Virginia.
Yeah.
I didn't know they said that. I don't know why I thought Virginia was like. When I think of Virginia, I think of cows, oranges growing on a vine. I'm not. I know that probably ain't right, but that's what I think about: cows and oranges growing on vines. I think about farms
Yeah,
and
there's some farms. There's some cows, I guess, if you go down further south,
see.
maybe.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I guess I can't judge y'all because Cleveland got cows in the hood. It'd be all types of animals. I done seen horses, roosters, turkeys going down St. Clair. So it's all types of stuff going on out here. So I guess I can't. But it just reminds me of some like I don't know. I'm probably wrong,
I've driven to Ohio. It's like what, 9 hours? Well,
but
I think it was.
why
Where
you
did I
drive?
go? I think it was Akron or. Anyways, I think I passed. Was it? Are you close to Cleveland? I mean Columbus, or I'm
No,
just
I'm
trying
in
to
I'm
think.
in Cleveland.
Cleveland. Okay.
Yeah, Columbus is you gonna be you gonna be.
Alicia said oranges don't grow on vines.
That's why I said it don't gotta make sense. That's my point. That's what it looked like. It don't gotta make. When you think of Virginia, what do you think about?
uh,
You,
Country.
see, that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You can oranges is growing on vines. What's that girl on the yellow brick road?
You
She
talking
got
about
J's
Dorothy?
on. It's a lot of stuff happening that ain't supposed to happen. What's
Oh,
that? Alicia, what her name?
Dorothy
Alice.
or Alice in Wonderland? Wait,
Yeah.
no.
She ain't got on the gold slippers. She got on Jordans. It's a lot of stuff going on in Virginia. Virginia's not a normal place, man. I don't care what nobody tell me, man. I'm sorry. It's not a normal place. That has to make sense. That's it. So welcome to Virginia. That's why I'm like,
Yes,
bro,
I
nine
know.
hours? That's a drive, though.
I mean, I've driven down to Miami from here. It's about like what, 16 hours or so. I know it's a long drive. That's for
I'm
sure.
maxing out at 3 hours.
Really?
3 hours.
Okay. Yeah, three
And
hours is good.
when
That's
I
a good.
drive the 3 hours, I'm either leaving later on that night or I'm spending the night.
Yeah, that's what the
Yeah,
rest stuff's for, right?
yeah, I can't do three there and then just jump back on the road and do another three. I need to take a break. I'm getting restless. I don't know if it's an ADHD thing, but now I'm in the car and I'm like, I need to see something other than just trees and I can't do it. 3 hours is after 3 hours. That's why I go with people when I travel.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm
that's
already
good.
knowing I'm not. You got 3 hours out of me, and then I'm a passenger prince. I'm sitting down. I'm putting my feet up. I'm cracking jokes, and we could try again in 3 hours. We could try again another 3 hours, man. But yeah,
Yeah.
tell her I appreciate that about
Yeah.
the vines though. I don't believe her though. I think I can make some vines, some oranges grow on the vine, but I'm gonna take her word for it. Don't worry about it. I
Maybe.
can do anything. I can do anything. Miss Alicia, I can do
Yeah.
anything.
Well, is there anything, any advice you would like to give in 1 minute, 60 seconds? No.
No, I got no, yeah, for sure. I got you. In 60 seconds, I would tell you, and I've been talking to people about this lately, capacity. Pay attention to your capacity. In the areas where you need to get it larger, in the areas where you can only handle so much. When you pay attention to your capacity, you'll start being more honest with yourself. And in this season of your life, with everything that's coming up, capacity is going to be one of the things that keep you in the spaces you're supposed to be in and keep you away from the areas that you shouldn't be. So pay attention to where you at, not where you think other people at, what you think they could be doing. You, what is your capacity? And always move with gratefulness. Be grateful for everything. Everything. Like find something to be grateful about. It'll help you with your anxiety. It'll help you with your anger, your depression, jealousy, anything. You have so much in your life to be grateful about. Do your best to find them. Get a sheet of paper every day. Write down 10 things you're grateful for. The way the wind was blowing. It don't got to be super deep. The way the wind was blowing. You're grateful that your family car. See? Look at that. See? That's what I'm saying. That's an orange on a vine, Alicia. That's an orange on a vine. See that? See that right there? Look at that. Be bold. See that? Get that orange and put it on the vine, guys. You take that orange and you put it. Don't you listen to the Alicias.
She said Virginia Beach. Okay, yeah. I love Virginia Beach.
You don't get to pick one spot and do. You don't get to. It's a troublemaker. You pick one spot where it wasn't a farm at and start talking about.
It's a pretty good beach. It had like a boardwalk there. She said, "Okay."
Okay.
No, I can think that. Okay, Virginia Beach, yeah, for sure. Well, with that being said, we should do the after party later. Let's continue to support the Unity for Social Justice. Let's free Master Yo, Prentice Banks, Jay Burton, and our brothers and sisters that are in need of our support.
Yep.
This has been a broadcast of showing love full circle between NNO360 and Mr. Tuwan Spencer. And thank you, Alicia, for joining us. Well, I'll talk to you guys later. Be safe, sweet dreams, and much love.
Good luck editing.
Salute. I know, right?
All right, bye.
Take care. And don't forget to tap in and watch the new film documentary. It's really a movement called Put the Guns Down, A World Epidemic, produced by Ice-T and directed by Terry C. Carney Sr., director of the film documentary Put the Guns Down, A World Epidemic. And if you guys haven't tapped in yet, please be sure to go on Apple TV, Prime Video, Google TV. Make sure that you check out the film, okay? Put the Guns Down, an world epidemic. And we need to work together for this movement. So I'll see you tonight. Annette, warm-hearted warrior diva at In the Know 360. Love you guys. Mwah.